Let's see. Let's see. Yo, what is good, folks? Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast. Happy Friday. Hope everyone's enjoying a fantastic Friday. Hope everyone's coming off a wonderful day from work, school, whatever the case may be. Got my crew in the building. Got my guy Harrison in the building. How you doing, Harrison?
Nothing much. Like I said, blessed to be alive another day. Shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Undisputed World Champ, BRF. And also, if you guys heard about the news about Chuba Hubbard, signed for a 4-year deal, $33 million contract. Shout out to my guy, Chuba Hubbard, playing at an elite level right now. So can't
The
complain
Carolina,
about
the Carolina Panthers making smart decisions. You love to see it.
You love to see it. Hey, listen, you can't. You love to see it. As my boy PGHJ always say, today's a happy day right now. You just can't complain about it.
Well, I'm glad you're doing well, Harrison. I'm glad that and by the way, you better keep Chuba Hubbard because he's a really good back for the Carolina Panthers. Got my other guy, BRF Sports, in the building. How you doing, my brother?
Man, you know what? Life is good. Like Harrison said, echo. When you get to wake up, you see another day, always feel blessed. It's always a pleasure to get on here with you, PSP, doing the damn thing with my 706 brother, champ himself, and of course my other NFC South brethren. You know I got to show some love to Harrison. So it's definitely a pleasure to get on here. We stay ready, so we ain't got to get ready. We do this from the Garden State to the Empire State of the South. We gonna wrap it up.
Absolutely. And of course, we cannot do the Sports PSP podcast without my boy, Undisputed World Champ. And please go like and subscribe to his podcast. How are you doing, man?
Man, good day today, man. In the great words of the late great of someone late and great, every day above ground is a good day. Like I always say, always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on the same stage as all of you young men, especially you Sports PSP, all of y'all. So let's make it a good day, and let's make it a good show for the people who are watching, man. Thank you for inviting me again, as always, PSP.
Anytime, man. Thank you. Fellas, let's get into it. Let's talk about Joel Embiid. He was suspended for 3 games for shoving a media member. I'm reading an article here from Tim Bontemps, ESPN. Philadelphia 76ers superstar Joel Embiid will be suspended for 3 games without pay for shoving Philadelphia Inquirer columnist Marcus Hayes after Saturday's loss to the Memphis Grizzlies, the NBA announced Tuesday. The suspension will span the 76ers' next 3 games: Wednesday against the Los Angeles Clippers, Friday night against the Los Angeles Lakers, and Sunday against the Charlotte Hornets, sources told ESPN Shams Charania. Embiid is set to return and make his season debut next Tuesday in Philadelphia against the New York Knicks in the 76ers' opening game of NBA Cup action. The suspension comes in the wake of an incident Saturday night in which Embiid shoved Hayes after taking issue with his recent column that mentioned Embiid's son and late brother, both named Arthur, while questioning Embiid's professionalism and effort to stay in shape. And Embiid told Hayes during the confrontation, "The next time you bring my dead brother and my son again, you are going to see what I'm going to do to you, and I'm going to have to live with the consequences." Hayes did offer an apology for the comments, which were eventually removed from the column, but Embiid rejected it. By the way, Embiid will lose over $1 million in pay during the suspension, according to ESPN's Bobby Marks. So, BRF, I'm going to let you go first. What were your thoughts about the suspension? Was it justified? And who was in the wrong? Was Joel Embiid in the wrong or in the right?
I understand you have to maintain a level of professionalism when you're an athlete, but if I recall correctly, some of those words of that article was in the context of Embiid disappointing his dead brother and son. Nah, he's lucky Embiid pushed him. I would have cold cocked him. I understand you have to maintain a level of professionalism, But when you bring dead family into this, I don't care what your job is. That's a no-no. You don't do that. Regardless of how you view Joel Embiid as a player, I get the whole load management thing. I understand people don't like the fact that he's not going to play backs-to-backs. I understand that. You don't bring dead family or family period in. You don't bring that into a conversation. You just don't. I mean, I look. I mean, I understand you have to suspend him. Like I said, you have to maintain level of professionalism. You have to go about things the right way. I understand, but Joel Embiid's reaction was completely justified, in my opinion, because you don't say that. You don't write stuff like that about anybody. Like disappointing dead family. Like who are you to bring something like that to light? To say something like that about another individual, you don't do that. You do not do that. And I wouldn't have accepted his apology either because that was out of line. I mean, if nothing else, you're going to come to me like a man in private and we're going to discuss it. We're going to discuss it if nothing else. No, we don't do this. And we ain't going to do this in public. No, we're going to do this in private because I could take it like you just doing this in public to save face. Oh, no, you're going to face me like a man and we're going to talk about this. So, and you have to suspend him. Because I mean, it is a physical altercation with someone of the media. You have to suspend him if you're the NBA. But his reaction was justified, and I completely understand why he reacted the way he did. Because I don't care what you do not bring family into this, particularly dead family. No, you don't do that. It's tasteless, and it just speaks volumes as far as like how far some of these media personalities are willing to go just to get a good article. Like, nah. Stuff like that you just don't do. You know what I'm saying? Talk about like when is he gonna come? When is he gonna play his game? Is he healthy enough? Bring stuff like that up. When you talk about when you hit those levels, that's too far, and I'm not digging it. So he just gotta he needs to face Joel Embiid up in private and handle that. I don't blame Embiid for not accepting any public apology. I'd rather that be in private. You gonna face me? We gonna handle this one-on-one. And let everything come as it may. So that was I didn't like that at all, particularly when I read about it and just took in like more like of the full context. That was tasteless, and I'm not digging it. I mean, you have to suspend him, but Embiid's reaction was completely justified, and that reporter's lucky Joel Embiid didn't punch his face off.
Undisputed world champ.
I have to say this. Where do we get to the point? When are we going to get back to the point of responsible journalism in this world? Responsible journalism. What does his brother or his son have to do with anything regarding the game of basketball? What does that have to do with anything? Journalists, even all of us sitting before us today, PSP, he preaches it all the time. We have to be responsible as journalists. You writing about his deceased brother and his son has nothing to do with his load management, has nothing to do with the impact on his team, has nothing to do with his impact on the floor. Why would you write that? The thing is this. They always say the apology should be just as loud as the action, but there's an old saying, especially with us down south. Some things you just don't do out of respect in the first place.
Facts.
There's certain things you just don't do out of respect. Even if you don't know a person, you just don't do it out of respect. Their family members, their children, they have nothing to do with what's going on their floor. Write about the game. There used to be a time where basketball or football was just that. It was just that. It was just about what you're doing. People are, look, and if you got into trouble, now if you got into trouble off the court or trouble on the field, that was a whole nother matter, because then you were becoming a distraction. But outside of that, keep things on the court as a journalist. You may have a problem with his load management. Talk about it. You may have a problem with saying that, hey, they need to get to the finals this year. They cannot beat the Celtics without him. Talk about that. But for you to bring in his deceased brother, for you to bring up his son, for you to bring up any type of family members, that's completely outside of the bounds of journalism. Journalists have got to learn this. Like we say down south, everybody don't play like that. Some folks do not play the radio when it comes to their family and their immediate family members, especially their children. They have nothing to do with this. I'm in the entertainment business. If I'm Joel Embiid, I understand you're going to attack me, but to say anything about my brother who's deceased, passed away my first year, I think it was his first year in the league, very first year in the league, right?
I'll go look it up.
Passed away his very, very first year in the league. Didn't get a chance to see him become what he is now. And now you're opening up his wound. And to all the people saying, stop being so sensitive. Hey, man, you have to think about what the respect.
This is first year in the league, champ. October 16th, 2014.
Yes. So my thing is this. Treat people with the darn respect you would darn well want your gosh darn self, or prepared to get them hands put on you. That's just how it is. These journalists have got to stop doing all of this irresponsible journalism. It's irresponsible. What does this have to do with the game? What did his brother have to do with the game? What does his family have to do with the game? That has nothing to do with anything. And the thing is, while everybody's sitting up there talking about, Joel Embiid, look, that reporter needs to be suspended himself, and if not fired. Because guess what? You can't walk into locker rooms like you used to anymore. You can't. Because people are now afraid, what you're going to bring up about myself if something was to happen to me and something that you don't like occurred. We have to show these players grace when it comes to their families and when it comes to their loved ones, because guess what? They ain't got nothing to do with the game of basketball. Nothing. Joel Embiid, he's in the world of sports and entertainment. It's okay to attack him about the load management. I get it. You're supposed to. You're a journalist. But keep it on the court. His brother and his family don't have anything to do with that. And keep this in mind. We've seen a lot of reporters get beat up throughout our lifetime. We've seen it. We've seen what happened in the Kansas City Royals locker room where the manager of the team threw a phone at the reporters. We've seen a lot of guys melt down when it comes to these reporters. So the thing is, you can protect yourself at all time by choosing your words carefully when you address these grown men, because these are grown men with families. So treat people with the darn respect you would want your gosh darn self if you were in that situation. Because all of that yapping about people's families and people's legacy, that doesn't have diddly to do with nothing.
Harrison?
I got no comment.
I'll say this. The journalist, the columnist, he could have made his point without mentioning Embiid's son and late brother. You don't do that. Okay, if you want to talk about Joel Embiid's conditioning, which that has been a problem throughout his career, if you want to talk about Joel Embiid regarding anything else, that is legitimate. But to bring up his late brother and his child, now you just crossed the line. And look, with the reporter, I hope he learned a valuable lesson. NBA, they're going to suspend him because from an optics standpoint, they're going to have to do something about it, because anything involving physicality regarding a media member, they're going to do something about it. But as a journalist or columnist, but as a human being, certain things you don't talk about. And that's someone's family, their late sibling, and their child. You don't talk about that. And I think this columnist crossed the line in that regard. If you want to talk about Joel Embiid not being out on the court, that's fair. If you want to talk about Joel Embiid and his conditioning, if you want to talk about Joel Embiid within the context of basketball, that is fair. But to bring up his late brother and his son, no. and I think the reporter crossed the line. Hopefully, he learned a lesson. It's a really bad look, and it's just really unfortunate, to be honest with you. But it seems to me that with journalists or columnists, you know what? I don't want to go any further, but I got my guy Grant in the building. What's up, Grant? How you doing, brother?
What's good, y'all? 1 second, 1 second.
All right, we're just gonna get Grant in the building. But again, guys, like I said before, man, it's just really unfortunate what happened with the reporter and Joel Embiid. Like I said before, the reporter, if he wanted to criticize Joel Embiid regarding the context of basketball, that is fine. But don't bring up the man's family. Don't bring up his late brother or sibling or anybody else. Just keep it within the context of basketball. Had he criticized Joel Embiid just within the context of basketball, that is fair and legitimate. But to bring up his late brother and his child, you're crossing the line. You're just crossing the line. And as a journalist and a columnist, you know, you're making yourself look horrible. That's all I'm going to say regarding that situation. But before we get Grant on, is there anybody who want to add further?
I'll add one thing. For every journalist and every content creator, please be responsible with your words and what you write and your videos that you make. Every content creator and journalist within the sound of my voice, because what you do not only affects you, it affects others around you. Because if you write something irresponsible or do something irresponsible, you're making it hard for the guys who are up and coming, not only with you, but after you. Because the thing is, how is somebody else supposed to feel comfortable writing something, even if it relates to basketball, if you're going to ruin it for them by not choosing your words carefully?
Great.
How they're going to be comfortable going into a locker room asking these ball players questions because you write something irresponsible. And then you wonder why there's a lot of distrust with sports media right about now and with the media in general, because media in general has been pretty much irresponsible with their words. So for every content creator and media member within the sound of my voice, be responsible with your words. Your words have more power than any weapon ever would have. Your words influence people. And with words come power. The pen is way mightier than that sword. So be very careful with what you write, because, hey, the pen itself can destroy more lives than a sword ever can. And that's all I have to say.
Grant, just to give you some context, we're just talking about Joel Embiid's 3-game suspension. He was suspended for shoving a reporter, columnist, for writing a column regarding Embiid's late brother and his son. What were your thoughts about the suspension?
First off, before I even get into it, shout out to the boys, PSP, BRF, Undisputed. You know, it's good to see you guys. It's been a minute. You know, I've been busy, but it's good to hear what y'all and talk. Considering and Harrison as well. My bad, I almost forgot Harrison. That would have been rude of me. But speaking of the article, if I was Joel Embiid, I'm lucky. He's lucky he didn't put hands on him, because I come from a family where my grandfather had 7 kids and they have 14 grandchildren. And if anyone in that family, in my family, gets disrespected, best believe we're going to find out who did it, and they're not going to do it again. And the thing that came about was, because people don't understand the whole context of what happened, it came out that Embiid punched somebody. And everyone was like, Embiid punched somebody. And, you know, everyone on Twitter was getting their memes out, trying to go viral at the moment. Then it came out, oh, he shoved him. And then the context slowly comes in. And you begin to see that, oh, wait, the dude that made this is a jerk. And look, I think Joel Embiid, you know, I don't blame him for the way he acted. Like, I understand your frustrations. If someone said that about my family or any late family member that I had, I'd probably be in that same mindset. And that's my biggest thing with sports media. I think these athletes are put, regardless of any sport, are put in such a high criticism that that when they do something like this, the media can say whatever they want and they're not going to get punished. As the late, great world heavyweight champion Mike Tyson said, social media has made y'all too comfortable with being disrespectful and not getting punched in the face for it. Because I think people in the media think they can say whatever they want about these players and that they're not going to get into a situation where you got to see them face to face. And hey, you messed around and you find out. That's what happened. So granted, I think it's soft because if they looked at the whole context of the situation, there's no need to suspend Embiid. He was just frustrated because of what somebody said. I mean, put yourself in his shoes. A lot of people probably would have reacted the same way if you saw the guy who made an article making fun of your dead brother. Like, no. And I just think the NBA was soft for it. But, I mean, it hurts the 76ers even more just because of where they're playing. But at that point, I don't even think basketball matters because it's just disrespectful.
Can I say something about that?
Go ahead, Harrison.
I'm just gonna say what my dad used to say when I was a kid. It's like Champ said. My dad used to say this when I was a kid. Think before you speak. That's all I'm gonna say. Think before you speak, because you can't say something about somebody else's dead relatives. That's all I'm gonna say. Think before you speak. That's the quote of the day.
Hey, Champ brings up the great quote from the great Ice-T: "Freedom of speech, but be careful what you say." So he always brings up that great point. So look, it's really unfortunate. I mean, it's just really sad. It should have never happened. And it's just really unfortunate because again, I know I'm digressing, but the situation with Jason Kelce, there was the video in which a fan, said a derogatory term, which I cannot say on the air, but anyone who saw the video know exactly what I'm referring to. Yeah. And it's just getting out of control, not just with journalists and columnists, but just with people in general. It's like they have no common sense. Like, I get they're celebrities, but at the same time, they're still human beings like the rest of us.
Well, granted, that person was just doing it for attention and clout, and Jason responded. Like, I get it if you don't like Taylor Swift, if you don't like Travis Kelce, that's fine. You don't walk up to Jason Kelce, who a lot of people call the greatest center of all time, call his brother a slur and think you're not going to get hit. He's lucky he didn't hit him, because I'm telling you right now, he would have had every right to hit him. But he was sticking up for his brother. Yeah. He pushed him too. That's just like, you don't say that. That's just a dumb kid trying to get attention and clout in the worst way possible. I know, going after family. That's not acceptable.
But Grant, that's unfortunately the problem is with the society. We don't think.
No, we don't.
Really don't think at all. And look, I mean, at the end of the day, people got to think before they do something. Otherwise, things are going to get out of control and it's going to get ugly.
Mm-hmm.
Like Champ always says, it gets uglier than a masterpiece sneaker. So
I mean, when people, I'll drop this in real quick. When people start exercising the idea of freedom of speech does not exempt them from freedom of consequence, then we'll get somewhere.
Hopefully. But fellas, let's move on. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about some positivity. The NFL. Last night's game between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Baltimore Ravens.
Whew.
I mean, it was a great, thrilling game. 35-34. Lamar Jackson. If you look at the numbers, and I gotta put undisputed world champ, I gotta put his feet to the fire. Lamar Jackson is third in the NFL in passing yards. He's tied second in the NFL in touchdown passes. He's only had 2 interceptions. He has a QBR of 77.6. He is on pace to throw for over 4,500 yards, 41 touchdowns, 3 interceptions with a 123.2 passer rating. You know those types of numbers, champ,
Oh my god!
and you bring it up 2011, Aaron Rodgers. That was the year in which he threw 45 touchdowns to only 6 interceptions. And you're the same undisputed world champ that argued for Drew Brees winning the MVP, rightfully so, because he almost led every statistical category. But I had no problem with Aaron Rodgers winning the league MVP that year because he still put up elite numbers behind a horrible defense. And Baltimore's defense this season, you cannot tell me they were what they were last season because
Not
they
even
gave up
close.
over 400 yards to Joe Burrow. They've been struggling throughout this season, champ. There's still plenty of football left to go. But if you want to make an argument for Lamar Jackson to win the MVP, I have no problem with it. The only person you would probably argue is Josh Allen of the Buffalo Bills because he's putting up numbers, he's getting wins, and he doesn't have the talent. But what Lamar Jackson is doing to put up these types of numbers with that defense not playing this well this season. And yes, you can talk about Derrick Henry, but still Lamar Jackson still has to look sharp. And he's completing 69.1% of his passes and to put up these types of numbers. He's on pace to have Aaron Rodgers numbers. If any quarterback put up those types of numbers, they winning the MVP. And again, for a guy, and you brought up the Bill Polian, who didn't think that he was good enough to be a quarterback in the first place. I got to say, man, Lamar Jackson right now is the leading candidate for MVP. Josh Allen, there's still other quarterbacks. BRF mentioned Jaden Daniels, but Lamar Jackson, man, it's going to be hard to say no for him for the MVP because of what he's been doing, the numbers that he's been putting up, and on top of that, Baltimore's defense is certainly not what they were last season. Give credits to the offensive coordinator from your Georgia Bulldogs, who's done a fantastic job with Lamar Jackson. This is the best we've seen Lamar as a passer, and he's only going to get better. And the beauty of it, he's only 27 years old. He'll be 28 in January. So he may win his 3rd league MVP. He's already going to be a Hall of Famer. If his career ended today, I think he has enough of a case to be in the Hall of Fame. Those are my thoughts. I have Lamar Jackson right now for the league MVP, although you could argue Josh Allen or anybody else. But, Champ, I'm going to let you go first. What were your thoughts on last night's game? What were your thoughts on Lamar Jackson? And so much more.
Is he quarterbacky enough yet? Is he? I mean, y'all was talking a lot of noise last year, talking about I want my quarterback to be quarterbacky. So is it enough? Are you not entertained? What's the beauty of that game? It was a comeback win from 14 points down.
21-7.
Yes. And the thing was, people don't want to talk about this. The reason why Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, kept going for it and kept trying to keep them off the field on offense is because he didn't want Lamar back on the field. That's how dangerous Lamar is becoming. Do you know the last time a quarterback was that dangerous to the point where a head coach did not want to put somebody back on that field? The 4th and 14 play where Bill Belichick went for it, and they were playing against Peyton Manning. That's the last time we saw a coach that was so scared of the offensive quarterback on the other side of the ball that he would rather go for it on 4th and 14. I think it was 4th and 5, but I digress. He would rather go on it on 4th, go for it in his own on his own side of the field at 4th and 5 than give him back the ball. That is how great Lamar Jackson is being at this point. You are legit scared to give him back the ball. I mean, quick strikes too. Quick strikes. So, yeah, I hope he's quarterbacky enough for all the media members at this point. Number 2, Baltimore. Y'all, look, Ray Lewis, you was at the game last night. You need to have a talk with that defense because ain't no way that they should have just got ran rough shot up and down the field for 4. That don't even sound like the Baltimore Ravens, bro. That don't even sound like the Baltimore.
Jamar Chase over 200 yards receiving.
Yes, that don't even sound like. So Ray, big play Ray, you need to talk to that defense, man, because some in the milk ain't clean with that. I know y'all lost Coach McDonald to the Seattle Seahawks, but something's got to give at this point because there's just no way y'all are just getting ran up and down the field. And guess what? You're lucky that Lamar and that offense was able to keep up with them. Because man, it was just going back and forth. Like I said in the video I made on TikTok, the OK Corral in Tombstone with Doc Holliday and Wilder didn't have nothing on Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson last night. They gave us 2 thrilling games that we're never going to forget this season. Those 2 games they played this year are game of the year. 2 of the highest scoring games that we've had this year. As far as Cincinnati goes, I'm going to steal some thunder from my 706 brother right now. That offense is equivalent to Matt Ryan's offense. I think it was, 2018?
I compared the year Joe Burrow was having to Matt Ryan's 2018 because at the time Cincinnati wasn't playing good ball, but Joe Burrow was playing in spite of what the rest of the team was doing.
Yes, and that is exactly what him. The same way Matt Ryan and Julio Jones will still lighting up the league, that is the same way that Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow is lighting up the league right now because that defense ain't worth the salt and the bread at this point. I mean, it was just a matter of who was going to have the ball last. And luckily for that defense on the Baltimore Ravens, they was able to make the stop, controversially or not, by hook or crook. They was able to make a stop in order to take Joe Burrow and not allow that 2-point conversion. But Lamar, this is the most dangerous we've ever seen him at this point. This is the most dangerous. Does this defense scare me? Could they sell him in the playoffs? Yes, they could. But the way he's playing right now to be able to go strike for strike with the Joe Burrow, who's considered a top 3 quarterback in the league, and you're defending your crown as the MVP, you're coming back even better than you were last year, and you're fresh off of an MVP, and you're setting the record books on fire. Like I said earlier, he's on pace to throw for 4,000 yards and go for over 1,000 yards rushing. That is possible. That is not something that is just in a dreamland that we're putting on Tecmo Bowl, Super Bowl, or Madden 2005.
41-3. That's on pace. He's projected to throw 41 touchdowns, 3 interceptions.
Yes.
You put up, if those are Aaron Rodgers numbers.
Yes. So I think that right now, the way he's been playing, he is definitely the MVP. Plus, man, like I said, he don't have that defense to lean on like a Jared Goff at this point. If that offense starts sputtering, the Baltimore Ravens are going to struggle. So you definitely got to watch that, especially when they play the Steelers at this point. But I think that, Lamar is the shoe-in MVP at this point. Now, it's going to be interesting to see if this happens. If this happens, it's going to be interesting to see. If Derrick Henry, who's in double-digit touchdowns right now, he's on pace to score over 20 touchdowns. If he rushes for over 2,000 yards and gets like 22 touchdowns, it's going to be interesting to see, could they be the first team in the league with co-MVPs? That's going to be interesting because although it's not a running backs award, it's going to be interesting to see how the voters do that, especially if Derrick Henry goes for over 20 touchdowns, I would say. Now, if he's in like 19, maybe. But if he goes for over 2,000 yards, especially if he breaks Eric Dickerson's record, which he's on pace to do at this point, it's going to be interesting to see if they give them, if co-MVP comes into the conversation, because he's on pace to break Eric Dickerson's record right now. He already has 1,100 yards right now, and you still got, I think, 7 games left. You got 7 games left. And the Baltimore Ravens are averaging 130 yards a game. They're the highest scoring offense in the league. And to think they didn't even feed Derrick Henry that much last night, and he still got almost 70 yards and 2 touchdowns. They didn't even feed him like they would normally feed him. So down the stretch, you're probably going to see them feed him a little bit more. So if that ends up happening, if you have 2 team members with like record-breaking season, where you have Lamar Jackson with 1,000 yards rushing and 4,000 yards passing, and then you have Derrick Henry with 2,000 yards rushing and breaks Eric Dickerson's record, it's going to be interesting to see what the voters do with that conversation and if they give them co-MVPs. Granted, we haven't seen that since Peyton Manning and Steve McNair. We haven't seen that since that time back in 2003.
Right.
And even then, it was unprecedented because they were both in the same division.
Yeah.
The last time, ironically, the last 2 times we saw that co-MVPs, they always came from the same division. Remember Barry Sanders and Brett Favre back in 97, they were in the same division. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. Do I think that Lamar Jackson is the shoe-in MVP? Thus far, I will say thus far, yes. But if Derrick Henry breaks Eric Dickerson's record, especially if he goes for over, let's say, 23 touchdowns, that's going to be an interesting conversation to have.
If he breaks Eric Dickerson's record, champ, for the most rushing yards in a season, do you think that would add validation to it? Because Adrian Peterson, he almost had that chance in 2012. He was like a few yards short.
I think that adds validation, and I think that proves that a lot of teams that didn't necessarily go after Derrick Henry, it proves them to be foolish at this point.
Dallas Cowboys.
I was trying to avoid that, if you don't mind. I was trying to.
Don't worry, we will discuss the Dallas Cowboys later on the
I was
Sports
trying
TSP
to avoid it, if you don't
But
mind.
BRF is
I got my cowboy hat and do
He
the
ain't
Stephen
lying.
A.
I mean,
Hey, I'm just saying, for Jared Jones to come out and say he couldn't afford Derrick Henry, that's the biggest load of crap I've heard in the last like 5-6 years. If he wanted Derrick Henry, he could have got Derrick Henry. And the fact that he didn't get Derrick Henry and Derrick Henry is back to being
and he works out in the offseason in Dallas.
worked
Stephen A.
out
Smith
in. So why can't you get him, man, 8, 9? Why can't you get this man $8, $9, $10 million to come to Dallas and give Dak Prescott some help behind the line of scrimmage to where he's not getting destroyed week in and week out? But I digress. But quick off of the scope update real quick. I'm watching SmackDown. For everybody who supports women's wrestling like me, they just announced the Women's United States Championship. It's one of the prettiest belts you'll ever see. So I'm hoping they have a tournament down the line for it. I think it's awesome. But
That's awesome.
back to the subject at hand.
But I think that's going to be an interesting conversation to have. That will definitely validate Derrick Henry. And like I said, a lot of teams will be proven foolish. But if he rushes for 2,000 yards for a second time, a lot of top 10 conversations need to be had about the greatest running backs of all
and he's
time.
doing it at age 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets a second 2K season, you can almost people might get on me for this. You can almost start having top 5 consideration with Derrick Henry. If he gets a second 2K, if he gets a second 2K season, we're almost in top 5 talks with Derrick Henry. If he gets a second one.
Oh, I think he could be top 5 by the end of the season. That's not crazy to say anymore. I've been pushing the top 10 argument for years, and everyone said it's too early.
No, he's already there. He's
already there. And if he breaks that rushing record, granted, he's on pace to go. The record's 2105. I can see him breaking it, and then you have to ask yourself. Then that makes the MVP conversation so much more trickier too. Because if Lamar keeps playing at this level, at this point, I think it's just going to be so interesting because this Ravens offense is like magical to watch.
Yep. It's going to be, did Paul McCartney make, that whole conversation? Brother. Did Paul McCartney make, John Lennon, or did John Lennon make Paul McCartney? You're going to have a lot of conversation like that. much like you had in like I think it was '89 when Jerry Rice had broke the touchdown record, and then Joe Montana, he was at his greatest. I mean, even in 2000 when you had Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner, well, 2001 with Marshall Faulk and Kurt Warner on the same team. So, I mean, there's gonna be a lot of conversation. It's gonna be interesting to see if they open co-MVP questions. And you got to think about this with Derrick Henry. Out of a lot of running backs that rush for over 2,000 yards, including Eric Dickerson and Adrian Peterson, he fumbled the least.
That's
So
right.
you got to think about that because remember, when Eric Dickerson broke that record, he fumbled the ball over 10 times that season.
Over 10?
Yes. He fumbled the ball.
I thought it
over
was I thought it was less than that.
No,
I thought it was
he
like
fumbled the
8.
ball. No,
Oh,
he
look
fumbled
it
the
up.
ball 10 times that season.
What year, champ?
I think it was 1984. The only reason why he didn't win MVP was because of Dan Marino that year.
I was
That was the 5,000 yard season, wasn't it?
Yeah, that 5,000 yard season. It was 1984. Because
Yeah,
remember, he had
1985.
just rushed for 1,800 his rookie year.
Man, I was not
19
even born. God.
Wait, champ, the year 1984 when he rushed for 2,100 yards.
Mm-hmm.
The fumbles that he had was 14.
He fumbled the ball over 10 times. He fumbled the ball 14 times. So he
That's
and
crazy.
Derrick Henry, yeah, I know it's hard to believe, but yeah, he fumbled the ball over 10 times that season. So him and Adrian Peterson, if you look back on Adrian Peterson, he had fumble problems. Derrick Henry has the least amount of fumbles. And when you think about even Walter Payton, sometimes he fumbled up. He fumbled a little bit.
Here the
So-
stats for Eric Dickerson right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Fumble.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, he fumbled the ball. I mean, and if you look on down when he had his greatest seasons in LA, his fumbles was always in double digits.
Yep. 13, 14, 10, 12, 7.
Yeah.
He fumbled 20 times that's 13 his rookie year, 14, 10. Good gosh, man.
Yeah,
That's
he
hard
had
to
a-
believe, man.
He had a huge
That's hard to
fumble.
believe.
Yeah, he fumbled 20 times his rookie year. Or it's not his rookie year, excuse me.
No,
13.
he-
13.
13.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the return rate.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see if he rushes for over 2,000 and surpasses that record. Does he get bumped up into conversations above AP and Eric Dickerson, considering their fumble problems? Got to ask yourself that question.
You actually got to ask, you really got to, champ, because at 6'3", 260, and to be playing this elite at age 30, and you got to give it to him.
Yeah,
the man is still a 4.4 40-yard dash, man.
But as big as he is, he can get you 70, 80 yards. But champ, if you put him in the top 5, would you say he's above guys like a Marshall Faulk, a LaDainian Tomlinson, guys like that?
I would.
to be honest with you, I will put him over Marshall.
I wouldn't put him over LT though. Not yet.
I would not put him over LT.
I'm not putting
I
him
would
over
put him
LT
over
yet because the
I
thing
would
is
put him
with-
over Marshall.
the thing
I'll
is
put
with
him over
Derrick
Marshall.
Henry. I put him over Marshall too. The thing is with Derrick Henry, the thing is, ever since high school, this dude has been unstoppable from high school because this man rushed for 12,000 yards or in high school. That it was so bad they had to put a rule in his high school district where once he hit a certain limit, he couldn't play anymore. He goes to Alabama, wins the Heisman, and is one of the top rushers in the SEC. He broke the SEC rushing record in his junior year.
Yeah.
And that record hadn't been broken for 20 years. Then goes to the league. Absolutely. He is in his 30s. There's not a lot of running backs at this age who can perform at the output that we're seeing from Derrick Henry. And my biggest thing is, if he breaks Dickerson's rushing record, man, we're going to have some conversations about him being one of the top 5 greatest running backs to ever play. Because this dude has not had a season where he hasn't slowed down. And there's a lot of times with running backs in this league, they hit a certain point, and then the older they get, they got to decline. not Derrick Henry. He continues to get better. And that's so insane to me. Like, I've seen there's stuff on Twitter. Go look at this on Twitter. His workout regimen, what he does for his body.
His diet too. He doesn't.
His diet. Like, we talk about what LeBron James does at 40 years old to keep himself healthy and maintain the same level. Derrick Henry does the exact same. And that's why he's performing at this level. So I see a world where if he wins this MVP and breaks that rushing record, you're going to have that top 5 conversation, man. Because that dude, for him to be dominant, not just at high school and in college and still at that level, but doing it still at a peak that we keep seeing increase, it's unbelievable to watch as just a fan of the game. Like, because there's not a lot of running backs who could do that at this level.
Yeah. And I think it's comparable to add this. When Walter Payton won his first MVP in 1977, he fumbled the ball 11 times. That's Walter Payton. Throughout his whole
Shout
career.
out Texas State.
Yeah, shout out to Jackson State,
Shout out to my Jackson
HBCU.
State.
HBCU. And it's comparable to add this. Derrick Henry's only fumbled the ball 19 times in his career. You think about Walter Payton. When you think about Walter Payton, Adrian Peterson, you know, even Eric Dickerson, each of them are in the 80s when it comes to fumbles in their careers.
It's
So you have to think about this. So
19 times. Good.
Oh yeah, his diet. I saw this.
Oh,
This
my
is
goodness
ridiculous.
he's only
He doesn't
he's
eat fried food, no dairy, no gluten, no sugars. He doesn't eat until 4 or 5 o'clock during the season. So you keep in mind, he's not eating during the entire day until late in the evening.
I'm not gonna
Like-
lie. That's kind of like the UFC, like
That's like some
diet.
superhuman stuff that you don't see from a lot of dudes. That's why he's
Yeah.
performing at this level. That's a big reason.
That's why I would never. This is why I would never do football in the first place, just because of that. I mean, I did sports before, like I did baseball, I did wrestling, but like I don't know. I don't know how can you do that in the first place. That's just
That's just a matter of being dedicated to your body. That's a matter of wanting to hone your craft to be the best possible player he can be. And sometimes that comes with extreme measures. But shout out to Derrick Henry for being able to, you know, put that kind of work in and be able to dedicate himself to being in the best possible shape he can. Like shout out. I'll add a little bit of some
go
stuff in.
ahead.
Yeah, I'll add a little stuff in there. Well, for one, to talk about the game last night. For one, shout out to Jamar Chase. He is a Triple Crown leader for wide receivers. 66 catches, 981 yards, 10 touchdowns. Leads all NFL wide receivers in all 3 categories. Cincinnati, yeah, I agree. If Cincinnati don't give him the money, somebody gonna give it to him.
Somebody better give him the money.
If Cincinnati don't give it to him, somebody gonna give it to him. The man leads the NFL in all wide receivers in all 3 categories. Jamar Chase is like he's reasserted himself, and you love to see it. But that was man, the two all right. If you combine both games, the combined score is 76-72. That's how close both games were. Decided by 4 points combined. That's how close those games were. And I said it's a 3-man race with Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow last night did nothing to throw me off of that. I think you could put Joe Burrow in as the third leg here in this 3-man race as far as the MVP race. That man threw for over 400. I mean, he's just Joe Burrow's lighting it up. He's lighting it up. The only reason why he probably won't get more consideration is because of the Cincinnati Bengals. They're not
doing good.
They're an inconsistent team right now, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. They're an inconsistent team, but we know one thing for certain, boy. That offense is gonna get it in. We know one thing for certain about Cincinnati. That offense is going to get it in, and that offense has been playing a lot better. So that was definitely an amazing game. Like, and it's funny because I was watching the game last night. Let's see, it was 21-7, and then I think I had to leave. I had to leave. I think I had to get me a little. It was a little late, but I went and got me a little something to eat. So I left. Next thing you know, I come back. I'm like, why am I not surprised? It's 21-20. Like when I when I saw it was 21-7, I was like, Cincinnati, they're gonna maybe not. Baltimore's gonna come back because Baltimore is just too good of an offense to not make this a ball game. And next thing you know, I come back and it's a 1-point game, and it's Baltimore's offense is operating in such a god tier level right now, and there's balance. I mean, they have an amazing amount of balance with their running game, with the way the offensive line is blocking for the running game, and then the passing game just being like, I don't think I've ever seen the Baltimore Ravens in a passing mode like this since Lamar Jackson has been the quarterback. I've never seen them this in tune throwing the ball. Lamar Jackson had 24 passing touchdowns all last season. He's already got 24 now. I mean, the man has just been on point. The man has been on point. And then add to the fact that he is threatening 1,000 rushing yards. Let's not forget he's threatening 1,000 rushing yards. So imagine if this brother gets 4,000 passing and 1,000 rushing. And let's say he throws 35, and let's say he throws 35 and 40 touchdowns. It might be like we're talking about top 10 greatest offensive season ever. I mean, Lamar Jackson is just this is the scariest he has ever looked. And this is the one thing that we've been waiting. This is the one thing we've been waiting on is his passing being what it is right now. I mean, his completion percentage is usually always respectable, but it's never been this high. I mean, we've never seen this level before. This is like that ceiling that we've kind of expected from Lamar Jackson. We've been waiting for him to hit this ceiling, and homeboy is starting to scratch that ceiling a little bit. He's been doing it this year, and you got to shout out. He should definitely be the favorite to win the MVP. I mean, if the season ended right now, I think you do have to give it to him. Even though I feel like Josh Allen, in terms of the value definition, definitely fits the criteria. But bro, the MVP is a numbers-driven award, and if Lamar keeps doing this, I don't think you can't keep the award out of his hands. You just can't.
Mr. PSP, can I say something?
Yes, go ahead, Harrison. I was going to ask you.
Okay, sorry. I mean, uncrustable right now. But either way, the one thing I'm disappointed on Derrick Henry. Here's the reason why. And no, it's not because he played fine, but I need 4.5 rushing yards on my prize pick, and he failed me.
Oh,
bro, failed me. I need 4.5.
Brother,
actually, you're not the only one.
Call a gambling addiction number, for God's sake.
Shout out to Broad because he was also complaining about Derrick Henry's numbers as well.
Yeah, but no, listen, it was nothing against Derrick Henry. It's just like Lamar was. Listen, can we just say this right now? Can we please just stop calling Lamar Action Jackson a running back, please? Because
thank you,
please. Because honestly, it's been going on since 2019. Like, please get them, bro. He's playing like a top 5 quarterback right now, and Joe Burrow is playing like the second or third best quarterback in the league right now. You can compare him. You want?
Is he quarterbacky enough? Remember, quarterbacky.
Listen, it's like what APSP. So it's like what you say about like pancakes and waffles about Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. You can do that either way, but Joe Burrow is by far the second best quarterback in the league.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Go ahead, champ.
Go ahead.
If Lamar Jackson keeps this up and gets to and wins the Super Bowl this year, does he pass Steve Young as the best running quarterback in history?
Ooh.
He's already done that, bro. He's already done that.
Wow.
Bro, Lamar Jackson already has Lamar doesn't he have multiple 1,000-yard seasons as a quarterback?
Yeah, he has.
Yes.
Let me double check because I could swear.
And he's also won multiple MVPs. Remember, he was the first since Brady to win the MVP unanimously.
Best running quarterback of all time is already over. Lamar been past Steve Young, and I love me some Steve Young. Lamar Jackson been past him. He's already best running quarterback of all time. Already.
If he wins a Super Bowl and a Super Bowl MVP, that's just the nail in the coffin for
yeah,
a
that's
Hall of
the nail in
Famer,
the
first
coffin.
ballot.
First ballot.
First ballot. If he gets all that, most def.
He's doing something that Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers have done in this generation, win multiple MVPs because of all the great quarterbacks that we've talked about with Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. No other quarterback has done what Lamar Jackson has done outside of Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And again,
He's had two.
if go ahead.
He's had two. So I just checked. He has had two multiple 1,000-yard rushing seasons. He had one in 2019 and one in 2020. 2019 he went 1206. He went 1206, and then 2020 he had 1,005. So,
And the crazy, and
that's not crazy.
I'm gonna throw this on there because Grant brings up 2019. That's the first MVP year where he ran for the 1,200 yards. Homeboy threw for 36 touchdowns that year.
Led the NFL in touchdown passes.
And
Led
guess
the
what?
league in touchdown passes that year.
Wait, and guess what was his weapons? Willie Snead. I mean, old Des Bryant.
he had nothing really going for him, and he managed to make it work, which
He
is
had
crazy.
who else?
And Hollywood Brown.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Hollywood. Thank you, champ. Thank you.
And Greg Roman did a good job though, calling them plays as the offensive coordinator as well too.
Yeah.
But let me just say like a couple more things right now. Jamar Chase. Where do you guys rank Jamar Chase?
As far as
Top
wide
five. Top
Oh,
five. He's top
right
five.
now, he's top 5.
Jamar Chase is top 5 right now.
I could make the conversation where he's top 3.
You can have a conversation. He's top
I
3.
have the conversation where he's top 3 because when you look at what he's done this season on a Cincinnati Bengals offense that has struggled to play, because if you look at his numbers right now, I'm gonna pull up his numbers.
Yeah, I was thinking top 5 or top 3.
He's first in the league in receiving yards. He's 10th in yards per game, average yards per game. Second in touchdowns. His receiving average is 14.9, and he has had the top 10 targets in the game. And as a dude that's done that on a Cincinnati offense that has not been able to get somewhere in some games, he has still been able to get up to that level. And I think that's what my thing with when you have this conversation about receivers and we go like into the conversation of why I have Jettis as the best receiver. Jettis is an amazing route runner. Hands are incredible. Great footwork. Can get off the skin. He can get speed off the ball. He has amazing turnaround. Jamar can do a lot of that. Equally to the not as great as Jettis, but he can do it at that level.
Okay.
And the speed and the thing is, we say a lot with these receivers, right? That's what I said. Like, if Cincinnati does not pay Jamar, they're going to waste one of the greatest opportunities to have. This dude is 24, and he's playing at some of the most amazing levels we've seen. How much longer do you think he's going to be able to perform at the level he's at? So lock him.
And you got the numbers right here. He's tied 3rd in receptions. He's second in receiving yards. He leads the NFL in touchdown receptions. He is projected to have 112 receptions for 1,668 yards and 17 TDs.
And if he does all that,
pay the brother. Pay the brother.
If he does all that, thank you,
bro. Thank you. Pay the look. I get it, y'all. I mean,
here's my checkbook. Name the number you want, and I'll send it to the Bengals right now. I swear. How much you want?
Hey, let me tell you something. Okay, I'm gonna be a little homerish for a second. Hey, if y'all want to pay Jamar Chase, I completely understand. We will take T. Higgins off y'all's hands. It is perfectly okay. If you want to pay Jamar, we will take T. Higgins. It's all good. But
no. BRF.
You put T. Higgins on Atlanta, it's over. You put T. Higgins on Atlanta, it's over. They're running it. They're gonna have it.
Harrison, just so you know, T. Higgins shared the same agent as one Jesse Bates and Kyle Pitts. Just letting you know.
We going to Magic City.
So you're telling me a team that now has Drake London, Kyle Pitts, Kirk Cousins, who's probably having one of the most incredible seasons we've seen after his Achilles injury, and now you added T. Higgins to that mix? It's over. They're gonna run. Oh, and Daryl
Oh my
Mooney too.
God.
He been balling out
Don't-
too.
don't-
That team will
Hey,
run the
let me
Blazers.
tell you something. I'm
They could make it to the
gonna get it out. I'm gonna get it out my system real quick. Then we'll
Yeah,
get on back to the show.
Can I say?
I
can say one more
told
thing?
I told people when they made the Darnell Mooney signing, people's like, they're giving Darnell Mooney $36 million. I'm like, yo, if you think about how Kirk Cousins plays offense and you think about how Darnell Mooney's skill set is as a wide receiver, it fits Kirk Cousins' skill set to a T. Kirk Cousins is one of the best deep ball throwers in the league. Darnell Mooney is one of the best deep ball receivers in the league. Look what they've done with each other this year.
No, that's facts. That's facts. And
Wait,
also,
can I say
go ahead,
if I had
Harrison.
if I had to take a guess, your guys' top 5 wide receivers as of right now, Justin, in no particular order. Justin Jefferson.
Jay
Hold on,
Jettis.
wait. Let me just like take a guess. Sorry, Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
Jamar Chase. It's no particular order, by the way.
Right. Okay.
Tyreek Hill,
Okay.
Yes.
Devontae Adams, and I'm trying to figure out who will be the 5th one. I'm trying to figure out the 5th one. I got the 4 right.
Mhm.
I'm trying to figure out the 5th one.
AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. AJ Brown.
Yeah, okay.
Jay Brown or
But all I'm gonna say is right now before I'm done, Derek Kearney, can you please give me a 4.5 rushing yards, man? Because you really just sold me. You sold me. You kind of you sold me, brother. You sold me.
All right,
But-
fellas. No, this is good, Harrison. This is good, man. But let's talk about unfortunately some controversy regarding the NFL. One Dallas Cowboys. It was a
God, I
good
don't
week.
wanna do this.
It was a good week for BRF Sports and Undisputed World Champs. as they
Oh yeah,
finally
thank
got
y'all.
their
That's the
revenge.
first time you ever hear me say this. Thank y'all, by the way, because the Cowboy tears I got to watch cry on Twitter just was beautiful to watch. That's the last time you ever hear that.
Unfortunately, Dak Prescott will be out multiple weeks due to the hamstring injury. Champ, correct me if I'm wrong. There's even reports that he could have season-ending surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not looking good for the Dallas Cowboys right now because look, Cooper Rush is their backup and people can talk about Cooper Rush's record, but if you look at the remaining schedule, they got the Eagles, they got the Commanders twice. You know, you look at the remaining of the schedule, I'm just going to say this, I'm going to say this for Dallas Cowboy fans. Focus on 2025. Focus
Facts.
on taking the rest of the season and probably getting yourself a top draft pick because the way this roster is presently constructed, you ain't going anywhere. You already paid Dak Prescott. He's going to be around. He got his money. CD ain't going anywhere. You're
Michael
probably
Parsons
wondering-
gonna know.
Oh,
Yeah, I was going to mention how are you going to handle Michael Parsons, but not just Michael Parsons. You got to address the running back situation. You got to address your O-line situation. You got to address all these needs. And I will say this, and I will continue to say this to Dallas Cowboy fans. I don't care. You ain't winning anything with Jerry Jones running the show. And to Champ's point, you better hope Stephen Jones doesn't go any worse because this is the same Stephen that talked Jerry out of drafting Johnny Manziel. And there was the video of Dak Prescott during the Atlanta Falcons game saying, "We bleeping suck."
that was funny.
And look, man, the Dallas Cowboys, they made their bed. They're laying in it. I'm happy because right now, I'm exhilarated because all this talk about the Dallas Cowboys. Look, my Commanders, believe it or not, ironically, no one thought, and I'm gonna get on some ridiculous Commanders fans. No one thought the Commanders would go 7-2 with a rookie quarterback.
No,
Which right now it's a lock. Jaden Daniels, there's nothing else that he needs to do to be in the discussion for Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Oh, that's
The
over.
only
That's over.
conversation that you
It's
probably
over.
may ask for him, could he maybe the MVP because of what he is doing with this team? I still have Lamar Jackson for the MVP. There are still other candidates I would consider over Jaden Daniels. But Jaden Daniels, if you want to put him in the MVP conversation, I ain't mad at that. Because what he has done as far as turning around the franchise. And yes, Dan Quinn, as far as coach of the year. I've said it before about Mike McCarthy, y'all. I will say this and I'll say this again. I know Flash doesn't like me getting on Mike McCarthy. I still think he was a product of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers because
Cook, holy Cook.
His play calling, his clock management, his leadership. I mean, did you see them the fourth downs? He was trying to go for it, champ BRF. Did you see that?
The jet. Let me know. This is what I'll say. On the first one, shout out to Caden Ellis because I think who was doing the game. I think Greg Olsen was doing the game. He pointed this out perfectly. Caden Ellis was able to read that jet sweep perfectly because he was in the 2-point stance. He had both hands in the ground. He was able to read that perfectly. So when he saw CeeDee Lamb coming, running the motion, as soon as they hiked it, he saw it. Bam, that was done. So that was shout out. So I'll say that was actually a good call, but that was just a better read by Caden Ellis to stop that play. The feint punt was just stupid as hell. I'm sorry. The feint punt was just stupid. The fake punt was just stupid. The fake punt was just stupid. I don't know what a throw with the punter and then throws it directly to the gunner. The gunner almost intercepts the pass. That was the stupid play. The jet sweep, I don't actually have a problem with. I think it was just a good play call, better defense. The fake punt throw was idiotic.
And also, Mr. PSP, I gotta say something about this because in the off season, they were thinking about trying to get a running back. They were thinking about getting Derrick Henry. That aged well. And they were, you know what they were thinking about in the draft in day 2? They were thinking about drafting Jonathan Brooks. And guess what? And guess what team he's on? JB28. He's on my team now. One of the best running backs coming out of this year's draft. Yes, he's still recovering from a torn ACL. But my God, it feels good that Jerry Jones just didn't draft that guy. And I am stoked. I'm excited. Listen, I'm excited for Jonathan Brooks on a good old Sunday morning. I'm gonna drink my cup of coffee and just cheers on that because my God, we need that running back because Miles Sanders is straight doo-doo. Like get out of here. Like get out of my state and go to Dallas because I feel like Dallas would love you, Miles Sanders. They would adore you respectfully. But my God, it feels good to see the Cowboys struggle. And champion, you're on cloud 9 right now. And PSP, God has been with you since week 1 of the NFL season, my guy. And I'm happy for you, bro.
They need to tank. They need to go ahead and just tank for Ashton Jeanty because at this point that would just make the most sense for them.
100%. I think that he might be the best running back coming out of this year's draft, if I'm not mistaken.
Right now, I think it's easily he's the best running back coming out the draft.
Everyone's saying it's between him and Ollie Gordon, but Ollie Gordon.
Yeah,
Ollie Gordon.
It's him and Ollie Gordon, and Ashton Jeanty's just like.
Well, Ollie Gordon, the Oklahoma team has not been having a good season, and that's just been limited. Ollie, but as a running back, Ollie Gordon, in my opinion, is more capable than anybody. But in the words of the beautiful LMA, shout out to Mrs. LMA, boy, you better get you one of these. Just tank now, sacrifice the time, and get this guy. Because if this dude is on the level where he can win the Heisman, all I'm saying, because this Heisman race, I think he's going to have to break a record, which he's on pace to do. But if
Cam Ward, don't sleep on Cam Ward.
Oh, no. I still think this Heisman race goes down to the wire. Because right now, for me, my top 3 right now, if we're going into this week, Travis, Ashton Jeanty, Cam Ward. That's the 3. Because Cam Ward, my thing with Miami, though, is, and I said this on Trent's podcast, I think Miami has the Florida State syndrome. What do I mean by that? You go back and watch that Duke game. They were down by 3 points at the beginning of the half. Granted, they managed to pull away and come back and score 30 in the second half. My fear with Miami is if Cam Ward gets hurt, if he gets injured and he can't play, how is this Miami team going to look? Because I feel like they've been in close games this season with teams.
Oh no, Grant, you could say that because remember Virginia Tech, they struggled against Virginia Tech. And
They
it took
struggled
kids-
against Virginia Tech.
remember
against
Cal. Remember-
Louisville, and
Yes.
this. Like, that's 5 games, right? You should totally beat these teams by, and you're still winning. I'm just worried that Cam, and granted, because people have to understand, if Miami wins the ACC, they get a first round bye into the playoff. The season doesn't end technically till January 20th, because that's when the national championship's going to be played. If he isn't healthy, I'm telling you, this Miami team, I'm scared that they're going to look totally different, and it's going to cost them horribly. Because when you have a team like this that's 8-0 and running the table in these games, you cannot afford to lose your Heisman winning quarterback. I'd say the same thing about any other of these Heisman candidates. If Genie gets hurt, Boise State's going to go down to tank. If Travis Hunter gets hurt, it's going to be a completely different conversation because you still got Shador, but you're losing one of your best defenders and your best receivers. I'm worried that Miami Cam Ward, and I'm really not hoping this. To be clear, I'm not praying on his downfall, so don't get that idea. If he gets hurt, Miami will look different, and I'm thinking it's going to be in a negative way.
Grant,
That's just what I'm scared of.
Grant, why would you have to bring up that Duke Miami game? Because that game got me so disappointed. And so
Yeah, I mean, this is your fault. You got a Strepo out here completely making your receivers look like molten jelly. And
that was
You got-
that was Malik Murphy's fault. What are you talking about?
well, 2 of the plays for Malik. Granted, Malik Murphy, that we can have that. That's a totally different conversation.
Yeah,
But
that's not a
Miami,
conversation for another day.
And also,
That's a
by the way, hold up. Shout out to my guy Chandler Rivers. By the way, if you guys never watched Chandler Rivers, our cornerback from Duke, watch some film on Chandler Rivers Jr. because that guy is special. I'm not saying he's going to be elite in the NFL, but you guys need to watch that guy because that guy, he said you got moss because against Miami because my God, his versatility is unbelievable. All right, my fault, PSB. Go ahead.
No, it's all good, Harrison. Don't worry about it. But Champ, like I said before, man, until the Dallas Cowboys, until Jerry Jones is no longer the owner, the GM of the Dallas Cowboys, this is where they are as presently constructed. I've said what I said about Mike McCarthy. I think he's nothing more than a product of Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. Heck, even Jerry invited him over to the crib for beer and nachos. When I look at how Jerry Jones is treating Mike McCarthy, he's treating him the exact way as he treated Jason Garrett. I mean, he's just only there because he's going to do exactly what Jerry tells him what to do. And as long as Jerry Jones continues to get in the way, this is where the Dallas Cowboys are. Jerry Jones is still going to learn the hard way. Bottom line.
Y'all remember that episode on the Powerpuff Girls where, the guy took over Townsville? Y'all remember that episode?
What does it look like?
Y'all remember that episode? And y'all remember when people came to Townsville and when the Powerpuff Girls finally came back, right? Y'all remember the Powerpuff Girls, all the citizens of Townsville said, you did this. You did this. It's your fault. Your fault. That's what they're going to be doing to Jerry Jones in a minute. it's your fault. Your fault. Your fault. Because, man.
W show.
I'm just being honest with you, man, because, right now, he's not a scapegoat. Jerry, what were you thinking? You made no off-season moves whatsoever. Meanwhile, the team who you was competing with in the Niners for championships, they've been making moves every single year. Matter of fact, the 49ers, although they've been hurt this year, they got players on their bench that can be number 1 receivers when you think about Jefferson. I call him Jefferson number 2. So when you think about that, they have been doing great in the draft. They've been doing great in trades. They've been doing great in the scouting. Jared Mason, he could very well be the replacement for Christian McCaffrey at this point. Because there's no
Champ. And also, by the way, the fact that we fleeced them for a 4th round pick for Jonathan Mingo in the 7th.
The thing was, although I knew it wouldn't benefit me, I was campaigning for them to try to, and like I said, BRL probably gonna get mad at me. I was saying, hey, the best thing that Dallas can do right now is try to trade for Tyler Aguilar. Give a second round pick. See if you can trade.
I was
for
going
him.
to say pray to God,
Nelson
but that
Agholor?
works.
Okay, Nelson
So
Agholor, okay.
the thing was, yeah, because that would have been a better option than what you have right now.
But
You know, give a second round pick to Atlanta, send one to him, a second and a fifth. Hey, Tyler Agholor, he's better than what you have right now. Plus, he's a bowling ball. He can carry. He proved he could carry the team in the running game. He's rushed for over 1,000 yards before.
Let me tell you something. If we got a second round pick for Tyler Algier, I'd have laughed my butt off, bro. Like straight up.
I mean, but the thing is, what were their options at a certain point? Because guess what? You know, you don't have anything. Like I said, man, this is Jerry Jones doing. You don't want to make the moves. You've went from being the George Steinbrenner of the NFL to where you're spending money in order to win to now being one of these owners that hopes to look up into a championship like you're doing much like you did last year. I mean, for you to not address not only the running game, you don't have any. You have no run stoppers on that side of the ball.
No,
you have been getting gashed every game. So you didn't address the running game. You didn't address your defensive run stoppers.
Yep.
You signed Dak Prescott to an unprecedented contract, which was unwarranted at a certain point because right now you're going down the tubes. You're going down the tubes. Now Dak is injured. You have no running game. The passing game is about to go down the tubes again. And the only thing you have to show for is the wide receiver from the Carolina Panthers and Trey Lance in the past 2 years because of trades. What kind of GM does that? And the thing.
And also, Jim, and shout out to my guy, GM, Panthers legend, Dan Moore, came from the University of Miami. That's my guy right there. I've been hyping up this guy for how long? Since the offseason started. I feel like this is going to be my guy. That's going to be my GM who knows how to cook a 5-course meal plus dessert. Like, come on. Like, and then the fact that we got a 4th round pick out of that. And also it's like, and I have a friend who's a Cowboys fan. He's like, yo, bro, is Jonathan Mingo any good? It's like, have fun with that because, man, that guy, Jonathan Mingo, God bless his soul and everything, but my God, bro, can't get no separation to save his life.
No, that was his biggest crutch.
Hey, champ, you think since Dak is injured, do you think it's time for Jerry to bring in Jeff George?
No, I wouldn't bring him. You gotta give me a couple of dollars and some hot dogs. I'll replace him for a couple of games.
Jeff George.
But I digress. Look,
you telling me you want to be quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys?
Yeah, just to make Mama happy. You know, Mama's a Dallas Cowboy fan, so just to make Mama happy, I go out there and put that star on my head.
Put the helmet on, champ. Tag in.
Throw a pass.
Champ on that offense, they get 5. He gonna break the rush passing record.
Yeah, go out there and throw about 2 interceptions, then come out the game.
I'm tired, Coach. I'm tired.
Yeah, be like Leon, but Jerry, you got to do something, man. You got to do something. Because you haven't handled, not only have you not handled the team well, you haven't handled the cap well. And that's so uncharacteristic of Jerry Jones for him not to handle the cap well.
Especially in the no state income tax like Texas.
Yeah,
I mean,
blessed.
I don't know what to say about Jerry anymore, man, because the thing is, like I said, there was a time where he was the George Steinbrenner of the league. One of the few owners that was trying to win championships at the same time he was trying to make money. Now, what are you doing? You're no longer the George Steinbrenner of the NFL at this point. You're not. It doesn't seem like to me you're trying to make the same moves that you was making back in the 90s.
So what, even the
yeah, and even the, I won't say that bad. No, that's
all I'm gonna say is right now, it's just like imagine you getting fleeced to a poverty franchise like my team. you need to pack it up, please. Respectfully,
No,
Jerry.
you got fleeced by the 49ers for even taking Trey Lance.
Okay, can we please just not talk about that?
Why? What are you doing trading for Trey Lance?
Because it seemed like to me you probably wanted to move on from Dak Prescott, and you felt like, look, Dak's too good of a quarterback for you to move on from, so I might as well pay him. But unfortunately, Dallas Cowboys, they're struggling. Had they tanked the rest of the season, they might have a chance of getting these quarterbacks in these drafts, whether Shador, Cam Ward, or whoever.
Yes. And the thing was, I had been saying that all season long before the Jacksonville Jaguars paid T-Mid, shout out to Brandon from the block, and before they paid Dak Prescott. I had been saying that. PSP can vouch for me. I had been saying that all year long. Wait a minute before you pay anybody this year that hasn't either made the playoff or gone that far in the playoff. I said the same thing for Miami. Wait a minute before you start overpaying these guys, because you have a quarterback draft class that you got at least 3 good quarterbacks coming out. Now, granted, one, he kind of dropping down the charts a little bit because he can overthrow Castro with how he's throwing right about now. So it is crazy. So that is how bad it is in Georgia right now because of Carson Beck. So it is crazy. So the thing is, he has dropped down the charts a lot because of his interception rate, him overthrowing the ball, him not making the correct decisions, and just a lot of things. So he's dropped in that draft. So it's a shoe-in. It's going to be Shedeur Sanders and Cameron Ward.
I think if I had to take a guess, the top 3, because I've been switching it on and off recently because this quarterback it's not that good besides Cam Ward. If I think Cam Ward, Shedeur, what about Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah, I mean,
Dylan Gabriel's output is incredible because you got to think about it. The reason why Dan Lanning recruited him for Oregon was because their offense is very pass heavy, and when you have dudes like Evan Stewart and Sean Holden as your 2 at receivers, that offense has been able to dominate college football. That dude. You can have a conversation. I don't think he can be QB1 though, but because I think it's gonna be Shedeur.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been talking about Shedeur Sanders. I don't trust him as a quarterback, but like,
how can you not trust him when
I just don't, dude? It's just.
How can you not trust him when he's already proven that he can do it without a comparable offensive line? Now, I will always say if they don't like his personality, that's fine. If
I think that's why
Johnny Manziel vibes with his personality, I understand that. But the thing is, him as a quarterback, he has the pocket presence, he has the scramble ability, and he has the arm in order to play in the NFL. So I understand if you don't like his personality, but as far as his intangibles and things of that nature, then you got to give it to Shedeur Sanders. He's proven that he can play and put up comparable numbers without an offensive line. Remember how bad that offensive line was this year. Yeah. Remember how bad that offensive line was. It was badder than bread in the ant bed at that point. So that's just how it goes. I understand people don't like his personality, and they didn't like Deion's personality when he came out, and it was back in the 80s. So the thing is, can he play? And if that personality brings on leadership, then you got to give it to Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, I was talking to my dad about a couple of days ago about Shedeur Sanders, and he didn't like him. Me and him are on the same page. It's just no, champ, and I 100%. You understand me because his personality reminds me like a Johnny Manziel. And listen, I still think
son. What did you think? Like,
I don't trust him, dude. I don't trust him.
But this is Deion Sanders' kid. He's gonna act like Deion. Deion talk trash. Deion talk smack. Deion did all this garbage. If you watch, granted, I wasn't alive in the 90s. Champ, BRF, you can fight me for this. So can you, PSP. Deion Sanders, the greatest in my opinion, the greatest two-way player to ever play the game. Wasn't he one of the biggest trash talkers you ever seen? Or if not one of the most.
He was part of the revolution of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Can I-
the thing. And this is my problem with Shador, right? If you don't like the dude because of his personality, his father is Deion Sanders. Where do you think he got that personality from? That's how he acts. That's what his style is. And I think
Yes.
people miscue that because your attitude shouldn't matter. It should matter what you do on the field. He's a high upside pocket passer who could thrive in a pro style offense with
Hold up,
emphasizing that timing and rhythm in the passing game. That's what I think makes him great. We shouldn't focus on how he acts because I think people want to take. Because here's the thing: people were saying the same thing about Caleb Williams when he hadn't painted his fingernails and him putting her in that dress, and people were saying, "Oh, I'm not going to draft him for that." But what did he do this season? He's been a better quarterback than what people expected him. He still went number one.
No, listen. Can
So
I
we
just
can't just
listen?
say,
I
"Oh,
still have
attitude
him.
is the
I
factor."
still have him in the top
just hate
3.
that.
I'm not denying that. I still have him in the top 3, but I'm just, you know what? I'm gonna say this right now. I'm taking Dylan Gabriel over Shador Sanders personally.
No, the hell you're not.
Get out
I
of
w-
here! Get
Wait,
out
No,
of
the
here!
hell,
no,
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 the
no, no,
hell you're
no, no,
not.
no, no.
Sorry,
Wait,
No,
I
wait,
have
you were
to.
not.
wait,
No,
wait,
you were
wait,
not.
guys,
Hold
wait,
No.
on, guys.
wait.
No.
Harrison,
Hold it
Harrison,
down just a little bit.
Harrison.
Harrison.
I can't.
Explain why would you take Dylan Gabriel over Shador Sanders?
Just give me a minute. I just like what like fuck, man. It's just I just can't, man. I just can't do it. I just can't pull the trigger about Shador. There's something about Shador I just don't like. I just don't know about his accuracy personally. I just don't see it. I just can't see it.
Bro, he has amazing accuracy. He
I
hits
don't
his
see it.
receivers
Honest with
perfectly.
you.
What are you talking about?
Wait 1 second, guys. Harrison, I will say this. You've been a Carolina Panthers fan for a good while, from what I gather, right?
Yes, sir. 12 years.
Okay. Why are you so worried about personality? The greatest quarterback in your franchise's history in Cam Newton had a huge personality, and he led y'all to a Super Bowl. Why are you worried
And
about
he
personality?
wasn't nowhere near as accurate as Shador Sanders is.
Why are
And a
you worried
former
about
MVP.
that's the thing? Why are you worried about personality over production? And the thing is, people get on the Cam Newton. Oh yeah, his personality. Okay, let's just bring up facts. Has Cam Newton got arrested? No. Has Cam
No.
Newton got his coach fired? No. Did Cam
No.
Newton come out and bash the owner even when he was going through what he was going through when he had to sell the team? No.
No.
Didn't Cam Newton do all the right things when it came to with his injuries and holding himself accountable as a player and a leader in that locker room? Yes, he did. So when people bring up the personalities, the personality equal production. When the personality outweighs the production, then that's one thing. But when the production outweighs the personality, that's a whole nother. The greatest quarterback in Panthers history is Cam Newton, but yet everybody's sitting around here worried about Shador Sanders's personality. Is he getting in trouble? No, he's not.
To add on to that point, champ, you know, a quarterback in
Now you make it so
2023 who the Carolina Panthers would have drafted, but had too many character questions. One, CJ Stroud, because of the Wonderlic score. CJ got a lot of flack and ridicule for the Wonderlic score. But at the same time, that didn't stop him from being rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year, taking the Houston Texans to the playoffs, winning a playoff game. And plus, Champ will tell you this, and he will vouch for me on this, that college football playoff game against Georgia, to the point in which Champ had three heart attacks in that game. And people, and look, Harrison, personality, okay, fine. Maybe Shador Sanders may not be the type of personality that you want, but you dealt with Cam Newton. And I'm not saying that Shador Sanders is going to be Cam Newton. I'm not saying he's going to have the career like Cam Newton. But at some point in time, when are we regarding personality, as long as the player doesn't get into any legal issues or anything like that, or any type of serious controversy, what's the problem of having a guy like Shador Sanders on the team? Okay, he's flashy. Yes, he's the son of Deion Sanders, but at the same time, of course, he's going to develop some of the things that Deion has taught him. After all, he's his son. So as long as he doesn't have any legal issues whatsoever, as long as he's on the right path, and he's trained. Correct me if I'm wrong, champ. Didn't Shador Sanders train with Tom Brady?
Yes,
As
he
far
did.
as like
And
go ahead.
yes, he did. I apologize. I did not mean to interrupt, bro.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, the thing is this. People will talk about personality, but people don't want to talk about this. I'm an SEC guy. BRF, you can vouch for me. When Cam Newton came out, he had character issues because of that
play-for-play
house
scandal.
that his parents had. Yes.
Remember
because
the play
of all
for
of
play
that
scandal?
money. Yes, because of all that money that a booster had gave his dad and his parents. So he came out being the number 1 overall pick with character issues. Not to mention, one thing that people forget about, he stole those laptops down there in Florida. That's how come he ended up going to JUCO.
When
So
junior
the thing
college in
is,
Brenham, Texas.
yes. So the thing is, when you talk about personality, does personality outweigh the production? As long as it does not, then you good. So Shador Sanders is not out there getting in any trouble. He's not out there breaking the law. He's marketing himself. And in this day and age, and I think that a lot of the young guys can relate to this, it's how you market yourself in order to make these off the court and off the field things. That's how you market yourself. Do you think Cam Newton would be a reporter right now for ESPN if he not marketed himself while he was a player? If he not marketed himself after he stopped? No, he would not. So when people talk about personality, the greatest quarterback in Panthers history, the first to win an MVP and lead you to a 15-1 season, which only 16 in NFL history has done, he had character issues coming from Florida and coming out of Auburn, yet he was still drafted number 1 overall. So if Carolina ends up drafting Shador Sanders, I don't think you could go no wrong because, like I said, the greatest quarterback in the Carolina Panthers history came out of school with not 1 school with character issue, but 2, that being in Florida and Auburn. So guess what? If you're worried about personality, you're drafted one with a huge personality and he had character issues. Guess what? One more quarterback that can lead you to a Super Bowl is not going to hurt you.
And not only that, David Tepper should not be talking about character when he is the same David Tepper that is throwing drinks at Jaguars fans.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're gonna hold people with character issues.
And one more quick thing before we move on. Okay, for Harrison, who is y'all's coach? Who was y'all's head coach last year at the beginning of the 2023 season? It was Frank Reich, correct?
Yes, sir.
Why did they not listen to Frank Reich when it was Frank Reich who wanted C.J. Stroud? It was the owner. It was the owner who wanted Bryce Young.
Wait, BRF. Can I? It's also our former general manager Scott Fitter, who is
But I know, but at the end of the day, it was the front office who wanted Bryce Young. Frank Reich wanted C.J. Stroud. So that's one of the things. So I'll throw this on real quick, then we move on. Like the reason why I think Shador Sanders is QB1 in this draft currently. I think he's QB1. What I've seen from Shador Sanders that I really, really enjoy about him in terms of his play as quarterback, one is the arm talent. His arm talent keeps popping off of the page every time I see him throw the ball. But like his he's actually surprising. He surprises me as far as him going through progressions. But also, I think the biggest thing with Shador Sanders is his pocket presence. He has amazing pocket presence. He understands pressure. He understands how to get out of pressure. He understands, being able to make those throws, and he's extremely accurate. Like I said, I think, it's Shador Sanders or Cam Ward for me as the top 2. I personally have Shador Sanders as my QB1 because I think right now he is the best suited at this moment as far as like pro style NFL offenses. I think he could come in, and I think he's the most NFL ready. Between him, Cam Ward, and Dylan Gabriel, I think Shador Sanders right now is the most NFL ready quarterback.
And to be honest with you, with Cam Ward, he is very underrated. And you imagine, champ, because I read his story, had it not been for that wing T offense that he ran early in his career, he would have been notified. It's amazing that he was not even a star recruit coming out of high school, and for him to be playing this well, and you can make a case for him as the Heisman.
Mhm.
All I'm
But-
gonna say this, I'm just gonna apologize just because it's just my personal opinion. At the end of the day, I
Yeah.
listen. No, listen.
No, it's fair.
No, I agree with
Very
what
fair.
you all say. I'll agree with you
That's fine.
guys. I will all agree with you at the end of the day. But if I had to take a guess, what Shador Sanders, if he goes to a team, I'm probably hoping Cleveland. I think that would be. I think Cleveland would be a good spot for them personally. I don't know what
Hey,
pick.
hell, you better
Yeah.
want it.
Cam Ward's going to the Raiders.
No
Cam
bigger,
Ward is going
no
to the
bigger
Raiders.
critic, no bigger critic has been on Deshaun Watson other
Mr.
than me
Touch My
than
Body,
Undisputed
Deshaun
World
Watson.
Champ.
We ain't doing it tonight. We ain't doing it tonight. We're not doing
But
it
that's,
tonight.
but that's
We're
all.
not,
That's all I'm going to say, Champ.
we're not, we're not, we're
I'll
not, we're not
apologize.
doing
Let's
it.
move on.
We're not doing it.
But again, Cleveland, they're stuck in money hell right now because again, you gave
Here
Deshaun
comes the
Watson $230
money.
million guaranteed.
Here comes the money.
So what are you gonna do? What are you going to do? And Baker Mayfield's getting his last laugh.
Get rid of him. Try to waste all them. You got to cut him. I mean, unless you
Problem
got-
is, if you cut him, it's just
He
dead
who
money.
laughs last,
You still gotta pay
he who
him.
laughs last best.
Mhm.
Because you still, if you cut him, it's just dead money. So you still got to pay him. I think it's like 140 million. So
All right.
Yeah,
All right,
that's 170, bro.
All right, fellas, let's talk about some of the NFL trades that's been going on. You mentioned Jonathan Mingo, Harrison, to the Cowboys. Marshawn Lattimore to the Washington Commanders. That was a big need for the Commanders.
yeah, that
I-
was.
Because we needed a physical cornerback because you look at the current quarterbacks that we have, Benjamin St. Juice, Emmanuel Forbes. I told you, I mean, coming out of that draft, I wanted Christian Gonzalez out of Oregon because he not only has speed but also has physicality. So I do like that for Washington. Preston Smith, I think to the Pittsburgh Steelers, champ. I do like that for the Steelers. And I do like Zadarius Smith to the Detroit Lions, especially in the aftermath of Aiden Hutchinson's injury. I'm glad that he's rejuvenated because he finally got himself out of that situation in Cleveland, and now he's going to a better situation in Detroit, a blue-collar town, hard-nosed, tough city, and for championship aspirations. So, which BRF, I'm going to let you go first. Out of all the
Mhm.
trades you saw, which one did you like the most?
For me, it's a no-brainer. It's Marshawn Lattimore going to Washington. That's the one I like the most because I feel like one of the most surprising units that we've seen really for the last couple of months have been the Washington Commanders defense. But that secondary still needed like that just hint of physicality to kind of match what the front seven has been able to do this season. And Marshawn Lattimore is perfect for that with his style. I think he can just come in and immediately provide them a force on an island with any receiver, and it brings so much. Like I mean, and he can pretty much play in any coverage. He can press, he can zone. He's a really good corner. For a corner, he can tackle. He can play the run as a corner. He pretty much gives them everything they need from the cornerback position to come in, fit in with this defense, and kind of you can tell Washington's going for it. Getting Marshawn Lattimore, you can tell they are going for it this year, and I'm not even gonna lie, I'm happy to see it. I am happy to see it. So for me, the trade I enjoyed seeing the most. I feel like the best trade for me was Marshawn Lattimore going to Washington. I feel like it makes your defense that much better because your pass rush is getting better by the week, and now you have a corner that can take advantage of that pass rush to possibly force more turnovers and get takeaways and put that ridiculous offense y'all have back on the field. So Marshawn Lattimore, in terms of schematics, just everything, was the best trade for me of that entire trade deadline.
Grant?
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's Marshawn. To as much as it breaks my heart, to get rid of him. For the Saints, we got to start cutting these contracts, trading these. In my opinion, have a fire sale, get us rid of as much players, reduce this cap space because the Saints are $74 million in the hole next year, and you might as well do it now. And if you do it now, it shows that this move shows the Saints want to actually fix this cap space so we can set ourselves up. Because I would rather have 3 or 4 years of mediocrity rather than 10. So it shows that we're willing to start making those moves. But yeah, for the Commanders, you get a great, extremely aggressive player that can put real pressure on receivers and has shown to be very consistent. So I think that's really what you needed. I don't think BRF really summed it up. In my opinion, I think that's the best move of the trade deadline because that's who y'all needed, especially with the way y'all cornerback room is. And I think getting that could put the Commanders into contention to make a deep run in the postseason.
Harrison.
I'll still say the Marshawn Lattimore trade, but I'm still 100% getting the Jonathan Mingo trade because that I can't believe that we 100% fleeced him for the first time since God knows how long. I'm sorry, I have to do that.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
But hey, listen, Cowboys fans, have fun with Jonathan Mingo because that guy is not going to get no separation to save his life. Even Jesus can't even save him.
Undisputed world champ.
We all know Jesus saved and then Ludacris withdraws. But
and you're the one who tells me about them pipe bombs?
Oh,
what you been doing? You been watching Jim Cornette?
oh,
Colorful?
Colorful. Look, Zadarian Smith, man. Y'all do realize that Detroit Lions is the only team in the league that is top 5 in offense and defense, right?
Oh, I just forgot about that.
And you just added a premier pass rusher to that team?
Oh, that wouldn't.
In the great words of Bone Crusher, it's about to get ugly. It's about to get ugly. So, man, look, Zadarian Smith, man, that's gonna be beautiful. Especially when you got an aggressive coach like a Dan Campbell. And big shout out to Aaron Glenn, man. Aaron Glenn, one of the most underrated corners in NFL history, now a great defensive coordinator. Big ups to him because he finna put Mr. Smith in a lot of good situations where he can make plays, just like he was doing with Aiden Hutchinson. And what I like about that trade is this. It's not just a one-year rental. It goes through next year. So you can very well see Aiden Hutchinson on one side and Smith on the other side.
Smith on the other.
Definitely some heat that I can't wait to see as a fan, man. It is that's special, man. And look, I'm hoping for Detroit to finally break the Bobby Lane curse this year. There was ever a year, because you are the top dog in the NFC for the first time since '91, when you went to your last championship before last year. You're the top dog. So I'm hoping that this trade is the trade that puts them where they need to be. Because as much as I would love for my Atlanta Falcons to win, I would love for Detroit, who has been in the pit of obscurity for I don't know how long, to finally get them a ring. And one thing for sure, Detroit, if you win this year, you call up Mr. Sanders and Mr. Sims and Megatron, fit them for a ring as well, because they did a lot for that franchise.
Facts.
You forgot Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, get that Georgia
I
Bull
don't
on
think
too.
so. I don't think so.
No. Let me know. Matthew Stafford was a loyal Lion for a lot of those bad teams. If you want to customize a ring for what he did for that franchise, I would not be mad at it.
Showing that he was a very underrated quarterback, and he didn't get enough of the credit because early in his career they just thought it was just Megatron, but people forgot he was the #1 overall pick, and to be playing this well. And still, look at what he's doing with the Los Angeles Rams. It's still an opportunity for them to win the division. So anything is possible. But as far as with this is Darius Smith trade for me because he's finally out of Cleveland. He goes to Detroit. They address the situation with Aiden Hutchinson. As to your point, champ, top 5 in offense and defense. But I do love the Marshawn Lattimore pick because that is a need pick. Dan Quinn, what he has done on the defensive side, Dan Quinn is my candidate for coach of the year because no one expected this. 7-2, former DC of the Dallas Cowboys running this team. It was either the Philadelphia Eagles winning the division, and for him to be doing what he's been doing for the Washington Commanders has been sensational. Adding Marshawn Lattimore will definitely make a difference. It will definitely make a difference for this team, and I hope it comes into fruition. But folks, before we get to our picks, there is this one play I gotta show y'all. Saquon Barkley.
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord, we're gonna get copyrighted by the league. I don't understand how he did this. This is unbelievable. Watch this. Gets the ball. Whoop. Watch this. Jukes him. And what's funny enough, he said he wasn't trying to he didn't mean to do that on purpose. He said it was just instinct. He was trying to juke, but he decided, you know what, I'm going to try and see if this works. And he hits it. And it's unbelievable because you got to think about the body control it takes to not only juke him on the first one, but then still manage to stay in the air to have that rotation. That just shows you how unbelievably skilled that man is. That's why he's one of the best running backs in the league.
What's y'all thoughts about that play? Harrison, I'm gonna let you go.
Let me ask you all this question: Is he the best running back in the NFL right now?
It's him or Derrick Henry.
Champ
I would
says
probably
no.
go. I would probably go. Derrick Henry's the best running back playing in the league right now. And Saquon second. I know Broad might not like that, but I don't know. For me, Derrick Henry has been the king of the league as far as running backs the last like 3 to 5, 6 years, and the fact that he's like having this rejuvenated year with what he's doing, but it's like neck and neck with him and Saquon. It's neck and neck with him and Saquon. They're the two best. I'll say that.
Well, you shake your head no. How come?
I think Derrick Henry has him at this point, but I want to know one thing. I got to ask y'all this. Why are we not talking about a race to 2,000? Because keep in mind, Saquon Barkley has over 900 yards right now, and they're feeding him a little bit more than they're feeding Derrick Henry in Baltimore. So why are we not talking about the race to 2,000 right about now between those two running backs when they're neck and neck? I think that Saquon is about 75 yards behind Derrick Henry at this point, but he's pretty much up there. He's almost to 1,000. So while we're not talking about a race to 2,000 is one thing between Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, and we got to ask ourselves this. The Philadelphia Eagles offense has gotten better with Saquon there versus what it was last year. So, is Saquon Barkley, if he rushes for 18, maybe 2,000 yards, is he a dark horse MVP?
Oh yeah, most definitely. Most definitely a dark horse.
Yeah, he's a dark horse. So we need to be talking about the race to 2,000, and we need to be talking about Saquon as a dark horse MVP because guess what? He's being fed a little bit more than they're feeding Derrick Henry. Remember, Derrick Henry only had 11 carries.
Yeah.
Remember, Saquon, he's averaging almost 20 carries a game. He's at least touching the ball 20 times a game. So we need to be talking about that. But that was one of the most amazing plays that you're ever going to see a running back make, man. Saquon, oh, my bad. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I just never seen a running back trying to do like a back front. What? I don't know.
Backward hurdle. It's unbelievable.
I never did track, but I would never seen it. I would imagine someone doing it in the Olympics. Someone do like a backwards hurdle.
That's something you only see in Angels in the Outfield, something like that. That's something you only see then. Y'all remember that movie, Angels in the Outfield?
Oh,
The
with
DC
Danny
movie?
Glover and
Classic.
Joseph
That's-
Gordon.
Yeah, when he was picking
That's
up,
a classic.
yeah, that's something you only see in Angels in the Outfield. Angels in the End Zone. They had a one called Angels in the End Zone too, but that's the one you only see in movies like that. I've been on this earth for a long time, thank God, but I have never seen that in my life. We've seen guys throw the ball behind their back. We've seen a little bit of everything. It's pretty much nothing new up under the sun in the NFL. But for you to have your back turned, not only hurdle someone, but clear them while your back is turned. That is amazing. But
Bro just broke like 3 tackles out of that.
Yes.
That's
Hey,
just-
I know
insane,
New
bro.
York City. I know New York City is missing him right now because he is putting it up.
Yeah, and guess what? They have to eat the living crap out of a Vanilla Vic's contract because my God, they need the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ to save them because my God.
Where's my Bible? In the words of John 3:16, y'all messed up big time.
But that's
Not
all,
to dis-
but listen,
not to
man. But
discredit the
like,
Lord.
but listen, even though they don't have Saquon, Tyrone Tracy Jr. and Brandon called him a random, and guess what? And he's been playing really well recently. So like, I mean, you can't complain about Tyrone Tracy Jr. So
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
They
but-
still messed up. They
Yeah.
still messed up.
I
The
know
way
they
I
still
feel
messed up, but Tyrone Tracy ain't
still-
bad though.
Get a
the way
quarterback.
I compare that,
You to ride with Daniel Jones.
the way I compare that is this. Y'all remember? I know you remember this, BRL. Remember when Corey Dillon left the Cincinnati Bengals and went
Right.
to the New England Patriots? And remember when Rudy
Right.
Johnson took over?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, Rudy Johnson was good, but Corey Dillon was right. He's no Corey Dillon. So Tracy is good, but he's no Saquon Barkley.
And speaking of Daniel Jones, remember last week against my Washington Commanders, he went 4 of 6 with 0 passing yards and 1 touchdown in the first half.
Couldn't hit the ground with a stick.
PSP, PSP, I don't know what happened. 4 for 6, 0 yards and a touchdown. I look at the stats and I was like, PSP, are you good, bro? Like, are you tripping? Because
Look, man, the Giants, they did them to themselves. They gave Daniel Jones $40 million per year, so I
Which he
can't blame Daniel
deserved.
Jones for taking the money. That's on the New York Giants. They wanted to go with him. They felt like this is the guy for us moving forward. They made a mistake with moving on from Saquon, so they made their bed and they're gonna lay in it. As for the Giants, hopefully they'll probably do something in the draft. But meanwhile, folks, we got some football picks. Interesting ones. Broncos at Chiefs. The Chiefs are an 8-point favorite. They're coming off an overtime victory against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Broncos are coming off an embarrassing loss to the Baltimore Ravens. I am going to go Chiefs, and this one is going to be tough, but I got Chiefs 23, Broncos 13. BRF.
I got Kansas City here. People are gonna be like, "Oh man, the Broncos got exposed." I mean, y'all gotta understand that's the Baltimore Ravens offense that did that to them. So y'all gotta understand. And Kansas City, they trying to find it a little bit. But I think right now, run that offense. They're gonna run it through Kareem Hunt and play action. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that PSP on that score line. I'm actually gonna say the same thing. 23-13 Kansas City.
Harrison.
give me that 15, dude. Give me that 15, dude. It's gonna be the score of 23-10.
Grant.
I got the Chiefs, bro. The Chiefs are just Patrick Mahomes can play the worst game of his life, and for some reason, I feel like the Chiefs just find some way to pull it out. And Granted, Denver has not been having a solid season at most, and I just think the Chiefs aren't really gonna have a problem with them. So I think Kansas City.
I mean, Denver ain't bad though.
No,
It's just-
I agree they're not bad. It's just I don't comparing them to Kansas City, who just got DeAndre Hopkins, who everyone said was going to be washed, and he scored 2 touchdowns in his first game as a Chief. That offense has just gotten better, and it's over. So I think the Chiefs are going to three-peat. So
Champ.
Grant, why did you say that?
because Patrick Mahomes has proven to me that even with his playing last season, his best weapons were probably some of the worst he's had in his whole career, and they won the Super Bowl.
Grant, you want to see a 49ers and Chiefs Super Bowl. I'd rather do a 10 essay
no,
paper.
I don't think the 49ers are going to do it because I think that offense, if their whole offensive, if all their weapons are down in the tank, Brock Purdy is, look, I'm not going to call Brock, this is a whole different level, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I think, honestly, if I'm picking out an NFC, I think it could be either the Lions or the Commanders. I know that's crazy to say, but if the Commanders' offense keep playing at the level that they are, and if Jane Daniels keeps playing like he does, I could see a world. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see a world where we open the door if this team wins the division.
Grant, you make me want me to do a 10 essay paper because after you said that, my God, man. Go ahead, champ. I'm sorry.
Hey, man, look. Did anybody see how that offense was clicking on all cylinders this past game for the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yes, sir.
Travis Kelce just got his first 100-yard game. Did anybody see that?
Let's not forget
Yeah.
Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, I was getting to that too. And let's not forget, thanks, PSP. But
Great minds think alike.
yes, indeed, we do. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then we just see D-Hop go for 2 touchdowns.
That is correct.
And they just had a shootout with Baker Mayfield and that offense. So
No Mike Evans or no Chris Godwin.
yes. So if the Baltimore Ravens came out here and lit you up like a Christmas tree in December, what you think about to happen to you against the Chiefs? You finna get lit up like a Christmas tree in December. You might as well just put the PlayStation 5 up under the tree. So yeah. So yeah, you finna get lit up, and Sean Payton's defense, finna start looking normal again because now look, it's kind of like fighting Clubber Lane one day and then fighting Rocky the next day. If you lost against Clubber Lane, what you think Rocky finna do to you?
All right, fellas, let's just try to keep it going. I got the Chiefs. This is a big one, and I hope Kieran's watching. Steelers at Commanders, and the Commanders are 2.5-point favorites.
Ooh.
The Steelers made a big move in the trade with Preston Smith. Of course, Washington with the big move with Marshawn Lattimore. Jaden Daniels going up against this type of defense, going up against a TJ Watt. Brian Robinson Jr., is he going to play? Because he did not play
He's
in
out.
last week's game against the Giants. Sorry, Harrison.
He's out, PSP.
So
Dang.
that's unfortunate. But it's going to be a problem. But I'm gonna be optimistic. I got the Commanders winning 24-21. As long as Dan Quinn and the defense does something, unfortunately, we're gonna have to do it without Jonathan Allen, one of our best interior defensive linemen. But if Marshawn Lattimore can step in, help out the young DBs, and if Bobby Wagner with his leadership, his veteranship, and of course he's familiar with Dan Quinn because of the Legion of Boom in Seattle, is Russ going to have the type of performance that Russ is capable of? And on top of that, to hurt Washington's defense, you got to hurt them by running the football. And if you can get Najee Harris going, I think they'll be fine. But I got the Commanders in this one, 23. No, I'm going to go. It's a low-scoring game. I'm going to go 17-14. 17-14 Commanders. Champ.
You know what? Protect Jaden Daniels because they about to put some packages that he has not seen before. Protect that right side. That's what JJ was darn. That's where TJ is coming from. So protect him. But look, just gonna be real, man. I don't think they can this game with that defense. I don't think they can. I think they're gonna be putting some things in there and tweaking a few things that Jaden in that defense and that offense has never seen before. So hey, my heart wants Washington to win. My mind is telling me that they ain't. So I'm going with the Steelers. So sorry, PSP, you're my guy. But my mind is going with Pittsburgh because I don't think they're going to be able to protect Jaden Daniels from that onslaught. That defense is something deadly. And TJ Watt.
And if the Commanders win, you gonna be drinking?
If the Commanders win, I will take a shot with you live on your show next week. I got you.
All right. BRF.
I really like this game. I think this is going to be a really good game. It's going to be low scoring, but I think the addition of Preston Smith is really going to allow Pittsburgh on defense to really come up with more pass rushing schemes than we're used to seeing. I mean, you could possibly see like some schemes with like 3-4 guys. Like, so every so often you got these defenses, they'll throw these schemes out, these front seven schemes where everybody's like standing around, like nobody's putting hands in the ground. And then you got to kind of pick and choose who's going to rush. And I could definitely see Pittsburgh doing some stuff like that, adding the Preston Smith to the mix. I'm gonna go 24-21. Oh, gosh, I gotta lean Pittsburgh too. I think that front seven is gonna throw some packages in. I think this is one of those games where Pittsburgh is gonna show that rookie side of Jaden Daniels just a little bit, and they're gonna show him some stuff he ain't used to seeing. 24-21. I hate to pick Pittsburgh, but I think I gotta pick Pittsburgh here.
Harrison.
PSP, I'm sorry, man. I gotta go with Pittsburgh.
No, it's fine. I'm fine.
Mike Tomlin against rookie quarterbacks. He's like 26,
25-6 or something.
25-6. I just
didn't
like
even know that.
He owns
yeah.
it.
I did my research. So I just like when I just saw that, I was like, man, don't doubt Mike Tomlin. Can't doubt him. Doesn't matter who's that quarterback.
Yep,
So
25-6.
all of us drinking, right?
I would, but I ain't got no alcohol at the house.
I'm picking Pittsburgh.
Hey, Jaden Daniels is rare. No one thought that he would throw a Hail Mary. So
I'll say 27-20 Pittsburgh.
All right. Next game. Harrison, I'm gonna let you go first. Giants at Panthers.
Alrighty, after that big win, I gotta stretch.
It's the Germany game too, ain't it?
Yes, at 9:30. Yes, and
Yes.
when Champ said took his shirt off because you picked the Panthers, I actually took my shirt off, by the way, and when we won. But so shout out to my man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Undisputed World Champ, by the way. I got the Giants winning. PSP, like you say, reverse psychology is always good, but I just think that the last time I picked the Raiders to win against the Panthers won. And the next week against the Bengals, I picked the Panthers to win. They lost. So you know what? I'm picking the Giants to win this game, but I'm just hoping my team wins. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game because that field in Germany is going to be really like a slip and slide because, my God, if you guys saw Seattle versus Tampa Bay, that it was a slip and slide. It was like a water park over there. But I'm saying Giants win 14-10, low scoring.
BRF.
For me, the best unit in this entire matchup is the Giants front seven, and I think they make a statement here. So I'm going to pick the Giants. I'm going to go 21-17.
Champ. What are you going to say? North Carolina raise up?
Take your shirt off, twist it around your head, put it like a helicopter. I'm going with the Panthers.
That's my guy.
I actually got the Panthers in this one because I just hope Bryce Young wins one. And besides, who knows? It's gonna be tough though with Malik Neighbors coming back in the game and with David Singletary. But
Yeah,
Dexter Lawrence,
I'm sorry, but like Malik Neighbor's been a little bit cold recently, if I'm not mistaken. He's been
I
like,
mean, you coming off a concussion? What
He
you
coming off an it. He coming off a concussion. Yeah, concussion.
wait, did he? Was it?
yes,
Bro,
I
yeah,
didn't
Yeah.
know.
concussion.
that was a major concussion. That was, I think it was a grade 2.
Oh wait, what?
Yes.
What was
Yeah,
that? was
trust me,
that?
I had a grade 2 before. That stuff ain't no joke, bro.
No, I'm not. I just forgot what week it was. I forgot
Yeah.
what week it was.
I forget, but it's probably around week 4, week 5. But anyway, next game right here is a unanimous Vikings at Jaguars.
Yeah,
Minnesota's a 6.5-point favorite.
mac and cheese is starting, so you know what? I rather watch grass grow. So yeah.
The Vikings better win this game.
Yeah,
They better win this game.
if the Vikings don't win this game, all hell's gonna break loose. So
Champ?
The Vikes. I'm not finna go against the grain and try to have a hot take on that one. That's only gonna cost me, some sleep at night. So no,
yeah, don't lose to mac and cheese because he's
Well-
a fumbling machine.
Well, this one is interesting because Champ's gonna go first on this one. Atlanta at New Orleans. Atlanta's a 3.5 point favorite.
Who that? Who gives a darn? So that's all I got to say. Who that? Who gives a darn? Atlanta wins for the second time this season, and we might blow you out in the NO. Go to Bourbon Street and have a hurricane on y'all. I'm going with Atlanta. Forever, I love Atlanta.
Man, myth the legend. Man, myth the legend. World champ. What's the key on offense? What's the key on defense?
That running game, man. And the thing is, look, who is Derek Carr playing?
Yeah, he's playing.
Yeah.
He gonna get somebody else hurt. So yeah.
All right, good.
BRF.
All right. I think it's awesome that if we beat New Orleans and we beat Carolina again, we go undefeated in this division. I was not thinking that at the beginning of the season, but I think it's crazy. Too much turmoil in New Orleans. This honestly, if I'm Atlanta, I'm sorry. I'm putting the foot on the throat this game. I mean, it's one of those things where I said it. I said it in one of the podcasts this week. I hope Atlanta just puts New Orleans out of their misery for the rest of the season, and just send them on their way. So I think this is a BTA game. I really do. I'm gonna go 31-14.
Harrison.
PSP. Remember in week 1? Remember I said the Saints are going to be in last place in the division.
You said that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just you know what? I hope the ATL, the Dirty Birds, win this game. Hope they win the division over Tampa Bay. I'll probably say, I think they might put a 40 burger. I'll say 42-7.
Ow!
A 20 piece with 20 extra flats at no charge.
Good lord!
You know what?
With 4 cups of ranch. My God.
I'm going with New Orleans for the upset.
What?
I'm going with New Orleans for the upset because I just want to see Champ's reaction when the Falcons have a struggling game and then he's going on his TikTok saying, "What the hell going on in Miami, bro?" And then I want
I haven't done it in a while. So.
Yeah. Because I want to see him with the same type of anger as he had last year when his Falcons lost to your Carolina Panthers last year on the road, Harrison. You remember that game?
Mm.
There's a
Atlanta.
There's a
cold breeze.
big difference from last year to this year, and
There's
that
a
is
cold
one
breeze.
Mister.
There's a
There's
cold
one
breeze
Mister
that just came from
Kurt.
New Jersey and just hit my house. Come on, man. That
There,
cold
but there's a
breeze that came and just hit my house. Why you had to do that to me, man? Look.
but there's a big difference between last year and this year, and that is one Mister
I,
Kirk Cousins. I'm
I
telling
got
people,
to I
it,
got to
it is
defend Desmond
good when you
Ritter.
have a
I got to
quarterback that
defend
can
my
throw.
light skinned brother. I got to defend my light skinned brother.
The guy who can't hit the ground with a stick. Couldn't hit the ground if he fell on it.
You the
So,
one who said he can't pass gas even if you fed him refried beans.
and he still can't. He was crying in the
He's
press
still
conference.
going.
He gonna throw himself out of the game.
No, I just can't win when he said Atlanta.
All right, next one. 49ers at Buccaneers. I got
Hey,
49ers. Because
Baker.
Tampa Bay's defense can't do
C-Mac
jack.
attack is back.
Yes, and Christian McCaffrey will make his season debut.
It's like the great words then Eminem always said. Guess who's back? Back again. But give me the 49ers. C-Mac attack is gonna run over this Buccaneers defense like no tomorrow.
BRF.
Well, I mean, you gotta. I don't know if it's gonna be like him coming back and just coming back in and dominating right off the bat, because we got to remember this wasn't just one. This wasn't just one Achilles. This was bilateral. This was both. So it's just it's a matter.
Might be on a limit if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So I don't see them really using him a whole lot this game. But I tell you, I mean, I'm gonna go. I don't know, bro. I don't think it's really cut and dry like that. I'm gonna pick the 49ers, but it's gonna be a close game. I got 27-24. It's gonna be a good game. It wouldn't shock me if Tampa Bay pulled this one out. But I'm gonna go San Francisco. I'm gonna go San Fran.
Champ.
Baker, I need you to win this game. I have faith in you. You have been playing lights out, and I really want you to win this game. I'm being serious. I'm gonna go with my heart on this one, man. Baker, I want to see you win this game and hopefully get a wild card spot in the playoffs. And I know I don't say that about the Yucks, because guess what? I don't even like the Yucks, But the thing is, I want to see you do good, just to spite the Cleveland Browns.
All right. Bills at Colts. Buffalo's a 4-point favorite.
Yes, the board unanimous.
No, I'd rather go use the bathroom and watch that game personally, but it is what it is.
Yeah. But Buffalo should dominate this game, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Plus, they getting Von Miller back.
Yep. Patriots at Bears. Chicago's a 6-point favorite.
Man.
If Chicago don't win this game, start looking at new coaching talks. Just gonna be real.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm going with Chicago on this one. I think,
But Drake May has been impressing me this year so far since he became the quarterback. He has been impressing me. Let me tell you something. He was the reason that play he made to get that game to overtime. Hey, Drake May has been impressing me, but I keep riding that bandwagon of that Chicago defense, and particularly that front seven, and Jalen Johnson, who is, like, in my opinion, one of the I say Jalen Johnson's probably like top 3 to 5 corners in the league going right now. So yeah, I'm gonna go Chicago.
All right. I'm going to go Chicago as well. Titans at Chargers. Chargers is a 7.5-point favorite. Unanimous?
and also the mayonnaise boys back, and no, I don't know. I feel like they should have started Mason Rudolph personally.
That Charger defense been playing some red hot ball as of late.
I think they're the number one team in with yards per. Trying to think about it for a hot second. Hold up. It's like, yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, not to mention this, the entire season, it's been 9 games. The Chargers have only allowed 101 points this season.
Tuh.
That's impressive.
I'm gonna say this right
and
now.
we were coming in the year worrying about that defense. That defense been balling.
Tennessee's defense has been doing pretty good
Hey.
as well.
You know that's shocking how the defense is that good without Brandon Staley, and Brandon Staley was a former defensive guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also,
Sounds
by
like-
the
Sounds
way,
like a scheme this year.
if you're betting, please put the under on Will Levis in fantasy, passing yards, or whatever, because you ain't throwing that ball with that Chargers defense. The Chargers win probably 27-10.
All right, here's an interesting one: Philadelphia at Dallas.
Saquon Barkley finna kill that. Saquon Barkley finna kill that rush defense.
Hold up. Let me ask y'all this question. When was the last time the Eagles win at Dallas?
2017. That was the year in which Carson Wentz had not been for injury. He would have won league MVP, and then Nick Foles took over for the remainder of the season, and it culminated by them winning the Super Bowl.
And that's kind of making me a little bit suspect, but like,
I'm not.
No Dak Prescott in this game. You got Cooper Rush at quarterback. Jalen Hurts has been doing a better job taking care of the football. And on top of that, Cowboys can't stop the run. So therefore, it looks like Eagles.
yeah, I'm going with the Eagles. I think it's gonna be closer than the experts think. I think it's gonna be like 3 points.
No, I don't. I don't think it's gonna be close. I don't think it's gonna be close. See, the common denominator in all those games where the Cowboys have been beating them consistently in AT&T is the running game and the offensive line. That's always been the common denominator. It's like no matter what's going down, the Cowboys could always rely on the running game and the offensive line. They can't do that this year. And then on top of that, Dak's out. This is one of those games where the Philadelphia defense, the front seven, the defensive line, they really should be licking their chops at the opportunity to try to rush, Cooper Rush, no pun intended. But yeah, I don't think this game. I think Philly's going to turn this into a track meet, and it's going to be a one-sided track meet. I think Philly's going to smash them.
Champ?
PHILLY. So
I got Philly. Jets at Cardinals. The Jets are 1.5 point favorites.
Well, I'm definitely picking the Cardinals.
I think the Cardinals are getting slept on because their ability to run the football with James Conner, Kyler's been playing kind of well lately. The defense is not really there, but they've been kind of improving lately. I mean, there were reports about Budda Baker possibly getting traded, but right now they're leading the NFC West as we speak.
I'm gonna go with Benny and the Jets.
Oh, you're gonna support Aaron Rodgers? Okay.
Yeah, Benny and the
You know, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Undisputed World Champ. I'm going with the Jets. I'm going with I think it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna be a close game. I'm gonna say probably 23-20 Jets game-winning field goal because they don't have the Greg Zerline anymore, and now they have a new kicker. Forgot his freaking name. But yeah, 23-20 game-winning field goal.
BRF.
I'm picking the. I'm actually going Cardinals here. I just like the way the Jets rush defense has looked as of late. James Conner's balling. I think James Conner's going to touch the rock a lot this game, and the play action. I'm picking Arizona here.
All right. Sunday Night Football. Lions at Texans. I got Lions in this one because you're asking a lot from CJ with no Stephon Diggs, No Nico Collins, who's still in IR. Can they still run the football? Sure, but Detroit's defense is improved. They added Zadarius Smith, and you also look at the other side of the Houston Texans defense. They've dealt with injuries, including Will Anderson Jr. So I got Detroit winning this one.
PSP. Nico Collins is back.
Oh, Nico Collins is back.
Nice.
Nice.
And I was thinking about it for a hot second. I was like, man, I might be regretting my pick. I picked the Lions to win this game, but now the Texans, with Nico back, they have a shot. I'm picking the
But
Lions.
Will Anderson's out for this game, though.
Oh, Will Anderson's out. Damn.
Darn.
I'm still picking the Lions by 1 point, 21-20.
You only giving the Lions 21?
Actually, wait, hold on. Give me 1 second. My fault. I was
Oh no,
30
no, you don't have to change it because I'm suggesting. I'm just like,
No, you make
I
a
don't
good
know.
point. You make a good point. 35-34. 35-34.
BRF.
nah, no. I mean, it's not unreasonable to think the Lions could put up that many points. I'm gonna go. Man, come on, man. Best running back duo in the league, Sonic and Knuckles, David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs. I'm telling you, man, I'm gonna ride that nickname. I love that nickname. Zadarius Smith gives them pass rush. Jared Goff's balling. Sam Laporta's getting hot. Man, yeah. 31-20 Detroit.
Champ.
I'm putting my buffs on for Sunday. I'm going with Detroit.
All right. And last game, Monday Night Football, Miami at Los Angeles, the Rams. I got the Rams winning this one.
I'm picking the Rams too. I think Stafford's still playing really well recently, and also Puka is now coming back from that unnecessary roughness, which uncalled for, by the way. And also, any news? Wait, Cooper Cup didn't get it. No, I'm tripping. Someone got hurt. But Kyron Williams, Braden Fisk, and also Jared Verse, bro. That guy is special. That dude right there is special from the University of Florida State, by the way. But I got the Rams winning, bro. But like, Tua, man. I'm probably gonna say, I'm probably gonna. Can Tua bounce? Man, that Rams defense got so much better now. But I'll probably say 2017 Rams.
BRF.
I'm gonna pick the Rams. I mean, Matthew Stafford's still Matthew Stafford. It's like when you think you want to try to run him off, he does what he did like against Seattle. That beautiful ball to walk it off to DeMarcus Robinson to win that game. Yeah, give me 30-23 Rams.
Champ.
I'm rolling with the best in the West. I'm rolling with LA.
All right. Now we done all our football picks. Now we're gonna get to our last two topics, entertainment wise.
Hey, PSP, I'm gonna head out here, bro. I'm gonna appreciate the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Undisputed World Champ, BRF, PSP. I'm going to bed. Hope you guys have a good college football tomorrow. So peace out.
Take it easy, Harrison.
Always a pleasure, brother.
All right, fellas. Entertainment. Favorite Ashanti track. I'm gonna go first. Rain on Me. The beat, her in the video with Lorenz Tate. My God, and then Rock With You. I love the track. Ashanti, very underrated, man. Her vocals, Champ, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't she do some vocals? Didn't she do some songs for like with J-Lo at the time?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't get enough credit, man. and I mean, very underrated R&B artist at the time, especially in the early 2000s, man. But Ashanti, man, her and Nelly, Nelly were an underrated hip hop couple. But Ashanti, those type of tracks, man, Rain on Me, and that her debut album. Her debut album was special. Even though we talked about Ja Rule from Murder Inc., and even though there was Charlie Baltimore, but Ashanti's debut album, that you got to go play and you got to go listen to from time to time, man. That was a hell of an album. Champ.
Man, huge fan, man. Look, Ja Rule called her the princess of hip hop and R&B for a reason, man. And remember, he gave her that name, and that was a great name. Happy's a good one. You know, Happy's a good one. You know, very, very upbeat song.
Another one though, although it wasn't her song, Always on Time, when she featured with Ja Rule.
Yes, indeed. That one too. I like the one. Look, Foolish was great, man. You know, Foolish was great, and the way they modeled that, after the Goodfellas was nothing short of amazing, man. That was good.
Yeah.
But Baby was a good one, man. When they sampled Scarface's Mary, and the only thing she put was Baby on there, and how she was able to bring that, you know, that hardcore Southern hip hop beat into that and turn it into an R&B beat. So I mean, that was good, man. Especially because I didn't think nobody could go that hard on a Scarface beat other than Scarface. But for her to have it, when you think about that, when you play that, you know a song is good, and you know you have topped the original song when people put a song on and they don't remember the original, they remember that one. When you put on that beat that Ashanti used from Scarface, people rarely think about Mary by Scarface. They think about Baby from Ashanti. So yeah, that's how you know how good a song is. So, and like I said, that beat was like I said, for you to go hard on a Scarface beat, that's nothing short of amazing. So I got to go Baby, Foolish, and Happy, man. You know, two great songs, man. And hey, shout out to Ashanti, man. You made watching 106 in Park fun because of your talent, because of your grace, because of your charisma. You made watching 106 in Park and TRL fun. So thank you for that.
BRF.
I'm still astounded by the fact that woman is 44 years old and finer. Just wow.
Jennifer Lopez is 55 years old and she still looks fine as hell.
Boy, man,
Salma Hayek is almost 60 years old.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So these women aging like wine. Got to shout them out. But I got man. Let me tell you something. Ashanti, like those early mid 2000s. Like you got Mesmerized with Ja Rule. That was another good one. Even though it wasn't technically her track, that was another good track. I'm gonna tell you, I got three. And y'all, I think y'all named one of them. Rain on Me is one of my favorites.
I did.
Rain on Me is definitely one of my favorites. The Way That I Love You is another good one. It was another good track. My favorite Ashanti track, though, is Only You. Shout out to the homie Slash for that guitar riff on that song. I mean, that is my favorite Ashanti song. Like, just the beat, like when Slash comes in that man, that was so fire. I love that song so much. Only You is my favorite Ashanti track.
Slash did that?
Yeah.
That was Slash, brother. That was Slash, my brother.
Wow, I just learned something today. I did not know that.
That was Slash. He was actually when he was actually in the music video. They shot the music video. He was in there. Yep, that was him doing that riff.
Wow, I just learned something, man. That's why I love working with y'all, man. I learn something every time I work with you.
By the way, I can't believe we forgot to mention What's Love. Although it wasn't her track, it was Fat Joe's track, though.
Hey, that's a classic. That's still ride. That's still a classic.
And speaking of 106 and Park Champ, stay tuned next week because on the Sports PSP podcast, we're going to discuss which show on BT was better, 106 and Park or Rap City.
Oh,
You ain't playing fair, New Jersey.
he ain't playing fair at all,
You
bro.
ain't playing fair, New Jersey genius.
Not at all, bro.
And last topic, favorite Shane McMahon moment. I will go first again. Sorry. Him and Kane in 2003. The rivalry. You remember when Kane tried to chase Shane in the back of that limo, and then Shane in the front put like a 2x4 or something, and he said, "Hey buddy, have a nice ride." That led to Kane with the car crash. Or I cannot tell you what Kane exactly did with them jumper cables. You know exactly what he did with I see Champ's face. Them jumper cables that he did and where he put them, I cannot tell you. They were excruciating. They were painful. They were vicious. But him and Kane, the rivalry that they had, and then him and Vince going up against DX in 2006. Most laughable moment. Do you remember DX? Vince, Shane, the Spirit Squad. Remember when DX was mocking Shane and Vince, and then the whole entire sky, it was crap everywhere that was on them. Remember that one, which was insane. So we got to include that, and also that match between him and Kurt Angle. Remember when Kurt Angle did that German suplex or whatever type of suplex, and then he hit Shane McMahon with the glass?
Mm-hmm.
And then Shane McMahon going on the top of the building and hitting Big Show on that finishing move. Do you remember that part?
Mm-hmm.
So Shane McMahon, man, here comes the money. And he, as well as The Rock, damn sure took the best Stone Cold Stunners.
Mm-hmm.
So those are like my favorite moments from Shane McMahon. But BRF, I'm gonna let you go.
I'm gonna just make it as simple as possible. His falls, his bumps, his big bumps. I mean, come on, this goes all the way back to like the first time he really did anything like that, where he jumped off the cage on top of Mean Street Posse when they broke them up and they feuded for a little bit. The coast to coast Van Terminator drop kick on Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 17 in the trash can. Just all of his bumps, like the SummerSlam bump with Steve Blackman in the hardcore match where he just beat him with the kendo stick and he fell 50 feet. The backlash bump where he elbow dropped Big Show. Shoot, the ambulance match with Kane where he did the drop kick off the top of the ambulance and then jumped off the set on him and didn't land. Just his big bumps. I mean, I give that man credit. And then to be the first man to take that bump off of the top of the new Hell in a Cell through an announce table, I thought he was done. He tried to elbow the Undertaker move, and that table just exploded. That was one of the nastiest things I've ever seen. And then he did it again against Kevin Owens. Like, I thought this man was insane. And then the cage match, and then the cage match with Braun Strowman, where Braun Strowman just flipped him, and there's been no one that can take a big bump like Shane McMahon. all like his big bumps just, and the fact that he was still doing this in his 50s, it's like 40s, late 40s, 50s, taking that steel cage bump against Braun Strowman. I'm just like, dude, I don't know how you do it, but shout out to you. Yeah, for me, his big bumps just, I don't know. I couldn't do it. I wouldn't want to fall like 2 or 3 feet in the air, let alone some of the bumps he's taking. Like, man, yeah, his big bumps for me.
Undisputed world champ.
I have to say some of his coming out parties when you think about what he did, what I like to call the Montreal Screwjob Part 2 in 98. Remember when he was supposed to, when they had this big angle where he was on Stone Cold's side and he was a referee and he went to count, he put 1, 2, and then he gave the Stone Cold gesture and then ran out of the ring. So that was a good moment, man. You got to think about when he formed the corporate ministry. That was a good one. You got to think about one of the biggest moments in wrestling history when it was him and Vince McMahon. He was on WCW and he bought WCW right from under Vince McMahon's nose. Then to top that off, the whole WrestleMania fiasco. That was a good one. Shane, look, one thing about Shane though, man, look, I gotta say this. Shane McMahon kept a fresh pair of Jordans. I mean, and wrestled in them. That's the first dude I ever see wear a fresh pair of Jordans to the ring. And, I mean, for you to be a Jordan fanatic like that, I mean, like I said, he kept a fresh pair on. So big ups to Shane McMahon. I saw how they gave him a custom pair of Jordans for that WrestleMania too. And then when he came out with his kids on right before that WrestleMania with The Undertaker, I think that was real big. It showed the last generation. Well, what we now knowing what we know now, it shows the next generation and then the last generation of the WWE as far as under the McMahon regime, knowing what we know now. So a lot of big moments for Shane McMahon, but I would say some of his best moments, I would say that feud with X-Pac is very, very underrated, man. That one when he used to come out with, he used to alter X-Pac's name on his shirt and X, what. So yeah, that was and then the way he used to mock wrestlers, remember when he had that short-lived feud with The Rock, so he came out with The Rock shirt and it said The Croc on there. So he was great at mocking people.
The rivalry with the Big Show, where he had that shirt on. Which way did he go? Which way did he go?
Yeah, he was great.
I know I don't want to bring this up. Remember Backlash when he and Vince McMahon versus Shawn Michaels and God? And then Vince is screaming, "Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Amen!"
I don't even. You know what? I'm from the Bible Belt, and that is one thing I would love to forget because I never forget my mother didn't already like Vince McMahon anyway after the whole corporate ministry fiasco. So for him to do that, I thought she was gonna throw the oil on me after she saw me watching that. That was
when they had Shawn Michaels do the drug test, it's better to be pissed off than pissed on, and he threw it on him.
That was hilarious, though.
Oh boy!
It was, but Shane though, but Shane, what's unique about Shane though, he could also wrestle, and also had the underrated bike skills. Remember when the thing he said about Eric Bischoff? I remember when he called him a parasite.
It's a lot of, like I said, he did a lot of things on the mic, and he did a lot of things that will to mock wrestlers. Like I said, the whole X-Pac shirt, man, it's a lot of things that Shane did, man. It's too many to name. And not to mention, man, I think the best McMahon moment was WrestleMania 2000, when you had a McMahon in every corner of every wrestler. You had Stephanie in the corner of Triple H, Linda in the corner of Mick Foley, Shane in the corner of the Big Show, and Vince in the corner with Rock. That's a special McMahon moment because, especially for Shane, because it started that feud. Because remember, Big Show was the first to get eliminated.
Right. And fellas, next week I will do this favorite Jim Cornette moment.
Can we even talk about that on live on YouTube? I mean, I'm just asking because I don't want you to get no violations because I can't even look the stuff that Jim Cornette is saying right now. I wouldn't even say that in the dark room by myself.
I showed you the videos. I showed you. If there's two people that he can't stand, are Ed Ferrara because of what he said about Jim Ross, and of course Vince Russo.
Yeah.
But as Jim Cornette, as you put it, champ, colorful.
Very, very colorful.
I mean, we got to include Jim Cornette. I mean, he's a promoter, announcer.
The thing that concerns me is, the memorable things that he did was back in the 80s, early 90s,
Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Yeah. We're going to talk about that when we go off there.
Fellas, any final moments before we wrap up the show?
Rest in peace to Tony Todd, the Candyman. Rest in peace to Tony Todd, the Candyman, and Darkseid. Thank you for scaring me to life when I was a child because I was scared to watch the Candyman movies. I was scared to say the words. And look, you were a great impact for a lot of great actors, and I appreciate what you did for the culture. And I thank you what you did for, showing us what can be done. Because even when you played Darkseid later on, you showed us how iconic your voice was. So rest in peace to Tony Todd. And one thing, always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor. And I want everybody to listen to what I'm saying and read between the lines of it. We are one.
Thank you. BRF.
Always a pleasure to do this with y'all every Friday night. Always a pleasure. I enjoy it every time I get on here. I feel like I have more fun each episode because it's like we're just building camaraderie, we're building friendship, building brotherhood. I feel like I have more fun every episode we do this. Also, shout out. I'm gonna do another quick shout out. Shout out to the WWE Survivor Series is gonna be fire. Bloodline Survivor Series War Games, as I predicted, is going down. I can't wait for that. But yeah, it's always a pleasure to get on here with you guys, with Champ and with you PSP. I'm proud to be associated with y'all. I'm proud to be a part of this. I'm blessed to have this opportunity to get on here and kind of add my platform to the mix and just make the most out of everything. And it's like I said at the beginning of the show, I'll say it again. We rep from the Garden State to the Empire State of the South. I enjoy this so much, and I continue to look forward to get on here every night, as my homie Champ say, with the highlight of Friday night. I'm enjoying this. Loving it to death. Loving it to death.
Make sure you copyright that at PSP so nobody steal it from you.
I won't. And don't forget your famous quote, Sport BRF. A thought not talked about.
A topic not thought about is a topic not talked about.
Exactly. Don't forget to copyright that as well too.
Yes.
I got to put in for that.
Mm-hmm. Fellas, before we wrap up the show, I want to pay homage to the late great Quincy Jones, passed away. Great icon. So y'all, if y'all want to add any final words, what would y'all say?
Thank you, Mr. Jones, and thank you to his best friend who unfortunately passed before he did. two of the godfathers of music, Clarence Avant and Quincy Jones. They helped pave the way for a lot of black artists. And Quincy Jones, one of the best producers, not only in music, but in Hollywood as well. When you think about Austin Powers, you got to think about Quincy Jones. When you think about the Fresh Prince, you got to think about Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones was tied to everything within hip-hop culture and music culture. And when you think about 007, you think about Quincy Jones and Clarence Avant. When you think about Ludacris, a little bit of everybody. Hey, even when Wu-Tang made the video with as far as Triumph, Quincy Jones was in that video. He was tied to everything. And when you think about Beef 1, 2, 3, and 4, who did that? QD3, Quincy Jones. So Quincy Jones was great for the culture. I mean, Thriller is probably his greatest work as far as him producing. But let's not forget the graduation songs that we sung as kids. We was graduating early grade school with Tomorrow with Tevin Campbell and We Are the World. For him to put those two of the best graduation songs of our generation together is nothing short of amazing. So Mr. Avant and Quincy and Mr. Jones, I want to address y'all like y'all should be addressed. Mr. Avant, Mr. Jones, thank y'all for everything that you did for the culture and everything that you've done for us. You helped pave the way so guys like us can be on these platforms.
Thank you, BRF.
Man, I ain't really no more I need to add to that. I mean, Quincy Jones for me is the GOAT as far as the world of producing. He is the GOAT. I mean, he did it in a way that probably might not be touched, if ever. Definitely for a very long time. I mean, outside of all the projects he put together, and then when you think about some of the songs that he did and some of the collaborations and some of the songs that he kind of produced, particularly one that stands out, will all forever stand out, is Secret Garden, one of the most underrated tracks in the history of music. That song will forever ride. El DeBarge, Barry White. I'm talking about he had them all on there, and that song continues to stand out. And just they called it. Let me tell you something. Ludacris did a song on him. He called him the Godfather for the reason, because Quincy Jones earned that nickname. He worked his tail off for years to build something and to give our culture like this music, and just Quincy Jones has always been and will forever be for the culture. And I'm telling you, man, he's an icon. He's very much icon. He's one of the most iconic figures in the history of music. And rest well, because this culture will continue to thrive with your legacy being at the forefront. Godspeed to you. Rest well, Mr. Jones. It's been a pleasure and an honor to even have had you in our presence as long as we did. So always rest well. Rest in peace, my good sir.
Well said. Fellas, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. As for everyone else, thank you for hopping on to the Sports PSP podcast. You know me, like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as IG Sports PSP, as well as TikTok Sports PSP3. We've now hit 29,000 subscribers, and we're just going to continue to keep on improving and get better and better. For everyone there who tuned in to the podcast, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Stay safe. Enjoy. Fellas, y'all enjoy the rest of y'all weekend. Be easy and peace.